Morning. No pre-produced intros. No, it's time now for Kincade and Salciunas. No, it is time now for Kincade and Salciunas. And it's time now to commiserate. The Phillies season, John Kincade, good morning, is over after last night. The Eagles season storylines have completely changed because they just lost to the New York Giants on a short week. Last night was a day of pain and a day of misery in Philadelphia sports, a day where we will have a ton of questions for both teams, one whose season came to an end in a way that I've never seen it before, and of course the other, 6 games into the season, 6 weeks of questions for the offense, 6 weeks of, I believe, excuse-making for a new offensive coordinator because it's hard.
It's going to continue.
It's a tough job to have
with all
this freaking talent.
It's really hard.
Good morning, Johnny. How are we today?
Well, you know how I am. It's not a good day, but I think we got a great plan today, and I think we're going to hear from a lot of people. We're going to make sure our listeners get a chance to vent along with us and everything like that. Not doing well. But I can tell you one thing, just an initial thought at the start of the show today. There's one thing that I do think that is a stark difference between the Eagles and the Phillies. When things go bad for the Phillies, I'm going to give them one bit of credit today. And it may be the only credit I give them today. They stand there, they answer the questions, and I think for the most part they answer the questions with brutal honesty. And what Orion Kirkering did, and we'll talk about it, him answering questions last night, it would have been easy for him to freaking run and hide because we have grown men, and I'll use the term grown men. It really annoys some of our listeners. We have grown men in the Eagles locker room who can't conduct themselves like grown men, who can't answer questions at their lockers when they're 4-1 and things are going well, and they got to, have this subterfuge and lie to our faces and keep things secret and deflect. And so there's an admiration for how the Phillies go about their business. That said, it's going to be a long off-season, partner.
Yeah.
It's going to be a really interesting off-season, and I'm actually looking forward to it.
You have admiration for how they handle themselves, but I'll tell you right now, I don't admire any of them this morning. The Phillies lose 2-1 in a way that you could say is historic. We'll play the audio for you. Today, it's like good cop, bad cop almost. For the Phillies, we are here for you. Like John said, we want to hear from you all day at 610-632-0975, texting in, calling in. We're not going to wait till 6:40, right?
No.
Whenever you're ready to call in, whenever you're ready to text in, we're here for you. When it comes to the Eagles, for the people that still make excuses for them, we're done with that.
Okay,
no more excuse making,
done.
okay? So that's the bad cop routine. The good cop routine is we're here for you to commiserate with the Phillies. When it comes to the Eagles, it's stop making freaking excuses for this team. We'll start with the Phillies. Here's how it sounded last night, courtesy of TBS.
No balls and a strike. Pages breaks his bat. Kirkering gotta find it. Throws to the plate. Oh my goodness! He throws it away, and the Dodgers have won. The Dodgers win, and they are moving on to the NLCS. And a most improbable finish. Pandemonium at Dodger Stadium. And your heart breaks for Orion Kirkering.
When I say historic, the Dodgers, this courtesy of OptaStats, John, the Dodgers are just the second team in Major League Baseball postseason history. Goes back a long time.
Just the second, you're saying.
To clinch a series on a walk-off error. Now, it didn't happen in the 1800s. The other one happened 9 years ago yesterday when Rougned Odor's errant throw to first on an attempted double play allowed Josh Donaldson to score to sweep the Rangers in the ALDS. And then it happened last night when Orion Kirkering had a dribbler hit to him.
A dribbler.
Could not field it, and then panicked. And here's the problem with a player like Orion Kirkering. Now, we can talk about the decision to put him out there.
Yes, we will.
But that play kind of highlights who he may be as a player. When it's a clean inning, he goes out there. Not bad, right? Goes out there.
No, not bad
comfortable,
at all. No.
Gets his job done. Anytime he goes into a game with inherited runners, more than 50% of the time the runner scores that he inherits. And that happened again last night en route to the Dodgers walk-off. I don't even want to say walk-off because it sounds disgusting.
You gift-wrapped it and gave it to them.
In the game-winning dribbler where Orion Kirkring then panicked and instead of firing to first base, hit the hot dog vendor in the fifth row behind home plate.
There was there's no excuse for it. There's no explanation for it. There's no baseball IQ that tells you, well, here's what he was trying to do.
He panicked.
He panicked. He panicked like he didn't know how to. He couldn't field the ball for one thing. So you already know he's fielding it like a grenade. And I use that example.
Yep.
Fields it like a grenade, like it's something toxic.
Hot potato.
And then he's not paying attention. He's not paying attention. He doesn't even know awareness of the situation. That was terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just terrible, and there's no excuse for it.
No, there's no excuse for that play. I don't.
No.
I understand why Brian.
I saw people trying to say last night, well, you understand what he was trying to do. No, you don't. There's nothing.
There is no.
You don't do that. There's nothing. There's 100 times out of 100, you throw to first.
The play's at first base.
And by the way, he makes it even with the fumbling of the ball. There's no way with a good throw that he isn't getting the out.
Absolutely. Now, I understand Brian Anderson in the clip that you just heard say you got to feel for Orion Kirkring.
Yes, we all do.
We do.
We all do.
We do. But that does not all of a sudden say, I'm not going to talk about it because I feel bad for the guy. Like, no. He's a player that anytime there's runners in scoring position or he inherits runners, he can't handle himself. And then a ground ball in yesterday's case, he panicked. Now, he's not the only guy that deserves blame today, and I want that to be clear. This is not going to be a 4-hour attack Orion Kirkring fest. Okay,
Correct.
That's where I will feel a little bit more bad for Orion Kirkring because I know that yesterday on social media, if you just search the name Kirkring, he's the reason why the season's over. Yeah, he may have had the last impact of why the season ended, but what doesn't help is in the 3 games that you lose, a collective 3 for 35. Trey Turner, Kyle Schwarber,
and the greatest
Bryce Harper.
And the greatest no showman.
I understand that game 3, they are the reason why you won that game. Offensively, and then, of course, Ranger did his thing on the mound. But offensively, Turner, Schwarber, Harper were the reason why you won one game in this series. But you can say they are the reason why you are out of playoff contention. You can say they are the reason why for back-to-back years you were eliminated in the NLDS. They are the reason where you start looking around you going, oh, crap, what do we do with this roster?
1, 2, 3 in the lineup. That's the major issue.
Yeah.
Bottom line, that is the number one issue. And they are the number one issue why you're going home, the number one issue why we're not playing. You have Trey, who put together 3 at-bats the other night where he gets 3 hits, and it's like, wow, he's got it figured out. And then he looks absolutely lost.
0 for 5.
Schwarber, who, again, he, like, sort of when he came out of his slump in September, and he had the home run game, and everything, it was like, wow, he hits the 4 home runs. Then he went right back into the slump.
1 for 5.
And then the greatest no-showman. Who gave himself the nickname, by the way. He's the biggest baffle. That's the biggest baffle again because I don't understand it, and the kid gloves have to come off.
Yeah, no, they absolutely
because
do.
This is the guy. He's the guy. Bryce Harper's the guy who is supposed to be the guy. He's supposed to be the face of your franchise. He's supposed to be the one of the greatest players in baseball. He's supposed to be the guy that John Middleton, who, by the way, he tried to hold up for a contract extension when he was, 2 years into a deal that he'd already signed.
Yeah.
My chair goes down. I'm going to tell you flat out right now, that's where it should all start.
It absolutely should start with Bryce Harper. And so now the Phillies are done. Back-to-back years out in the first round. Back-to-back years where we're going to question what this roster should look like. And hopefully this time around, Dave Dombrowski actually does something about it. Also, the Eagles lost yesterday, 34-17 to the freaking New York Giants. And again, for anybody that is still making excuses for Kevin Patullo, who is still making excuses for Jalen Hurts, who was not good in the second half yesterday, it has to end. They won the Super Bowl. We love that. Let's get past the honeymoon phase. Now it's time to start pointing out this team's got freaking issues on offense. So coming up next, the P word was mentioned again. Earlier this week by Dan Orlovsky. Oh, media. Well, what about an all-time Eagle great who's still on the team? You'll hear from Lane Johnson next. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Attention,
The Fanatic. Again, Orion Kirkland, we're going to talk about him a lot today. I understand I don't need to see this kind of stuff this morning.
What do you mean?
I saw a tweet from a guy that covers the Mets. Doesn't even do anything.
You mean Howie Rose? Is it Howie Rose?
John DeMarsico.
Oh, okay, because Howie Rose put one out too.
Friendly reminder that human beings play this game.
It's like, would you stop with
Look,
that?
I think we're all on the same page. If anybody said anything over the line to Orion Kerkering,
If anybody is DMing Orion Kerkering, if anybody is tweeting at him and saying, wishing him ill,
yes.
If anything, that is out of bounds.
Yeah, totally out of bounds.
Criticism of Orion Kerkering?
This guy comes up small in big moments.
Pointing out the facts of Orion Kerkering is all fair game.
Yeah.
That's called professional sports. That's called living it. I'm so tired of being lectured in 2025 about, I hope everybody feels like, remember, we have human beings playing sports. Yes, we do. We always have.
Yeah.
We always have. But the thing is, Orion Kerkering had a chance to shake his hand Saturday night. I don't really even know Orion, well. I mean, I don't know him at all, personally.
Sure.
But I had a chance to shake his hand Saturday night, wish him well before the NLDS even began. What a really nice guy.
Sure.
Like a really nice guy and everything like that. It doesn't change the fact that his resume is when there's no pressure or when he comes in the least pressure situations is when he does best.
Great. Yeah.
Those are all facts. Those discussions have to be had.
Yeah. Inherited runners.
And we don't have to
panicking.
We don't have to take every conversation about Orion Kerkering and put it in this let's wrap it in cottonelle.
Right.
And coddle it and shake it. But if you're one of the a-holes that
went over
DMs
the
this
line.
guy and goes over the line, you're the worst among us. You are the worst people among us. But it's okay to have honest conversation.
Yeah,
it's okay
absolutely.
to talk about that.
It's also okay to have honest conversation about this Eagles offense.
Oh, my gosh.
Philadelphia.
Even though they won't.
Philadelphia 9 on our YouTube chat.
You're laughing at the comment.
Bleep the Phillies, bleep the Eagles, especially Kevin Potato.
Yeah, Kevin Potato.
I have never heard Kevin Potato. So that's a new one. I appreciate that one, Philadelphia 9. Kevin Potato, the Eagles offense, once again doing nothing in the second half. Goose egg, 0 points in the second half against the New York freaking Giants, man. Once again, a tale of two halves because once again, you saw good things from the Eagles offense early on, and you're going, wow, look, Saquon's running the ball. And then they don't in the entire second half. Well, Jalen's looking pretty good. He's looking comfortable. There's open receivers, and then he doesn't look comfortable in the second half. Part of that's on him, which we will talk about.
Correct.
Part of it's also on Kevin Patullo. So for the people that push back on guys like Dan Orlovsky, right? Oh, hot take media, blah, 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 blah.
Hot take.
I don't know. Dan Orlovsky has mentioned the word predictable multiple times this year for the Philadelphia Eagles offense.
Most predictable.
What about a player on the freaking team and potentially a Hall of Famer? Obviously, we don't know because of the steroid use in the past. Here's Lane Johnson at his locker following the Eagles' 34-17 loss to the New York Giants last night.
The consistency isn't there, so yeah. I mean, it's not a finger pointing show. I'm with Kevin till the end. A lot of it goes down to execution. So we'll go back and look at this tape and see what we got to get fixed. We're moving forward, maybe more efficient, less predictable, and capitalize on big plays and explosives.
Here's where Lane's being really kind to Kevin Patullo, and he is with Kevin to the end, as he says. Hopefully, the end is coming soon. Hopefully we're not going to ride this thing and just keep excuse making and telling the fan base that everything's okay. There is play calling and everything does come down to execution. Mm-hmm. But predictability, which Lane Johnson points out, that's not execution.
No, it's not.
That's losing the game of X's and O's. That's losing the chess match versus opposing defensive coordinators. They see what Kevin Patullo's doing, and then he can't adjust back. And that has nothing to do with execution. That has to do with, we see when the Eagles are lined up like this, they do this 95% of the time, 90% of the time. And predictability has nothing to do with execution.
No, absolutely not. And when you hear it week in and week out, to your point, look, there's going to have to come a time, and soon, where Nick Sirianni, or maybe not Nick, but the guys above him, like Howie Roseman, need to decide, is this working out, yes or no? And clearly it's not. Despite them being 4-2, the offensive categories that we have been talking about, including 3-and-outs, being at the bottom of the NFL, that's not something that's just going to all of a sudden flip, right?
No.
It's not because they have an injured player, and when that player comes back, it's going to change. It's not like, oh, man, they're just trying to get by the first couple weeks of the season. No, we're now 6 weeks in. We have now watched 6 games of data where we have seen the Eagles' offense be so inconsistent. And when I say inconsistent, when it's bad, it is freaking bad.
Oh, it's ugly.
They don't get by with their talent. It is hideous. And now they're 4-2. They lost 2 straight games because of it. And you could make the legitimate case that at times they could be 2-4 at this point of the season. And that's why I can't sit here and go, give it time. It's okay.
Let's be patient.
It's a tough job. No, patience goes out the freaking window when you have Super Bowl standards, and this team is not playing like it at all. Again.
And that's the bottom line. We got so much to get into today. Oh, my gosh.
We're here for you with the Phillies. We are the shoulder for you to lean on.
We're here for
Commiserate with us. When it comes to the Eagles, if you try to give excuses, no. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
But I don't know what excuses are left, okay? There are none. So text in, call in, 610-632-0975. We're not going to wait till 6:40, so we'll get to our first couple of text messages coming up next. If you want to call in, you can as well. Also, we'll play the Orion Kerkering press conference after the loss yesterday, and then we will have a candid discussion about it. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Black Thursday. I'm Connor Thomas, and with 3 teams in action yesterday, Philadelphia sports ended up going 0-3 in one of the worst days you can remember in recent Philly sports history. Let's start with the Phillies, whose season came to an end in the 11th inning in Game 4 in L.A. against the Dodgers as Orion Kerkering made a throwing error to home with the bases loaded and the game tied at 1. It was one of the more brutal ways to lose a game you'll ever see, and Kyle Schwarber talked about Orion Kerkering after the game.
You know, obviously for us, it sucks, right? It ended up being the play that ends the game. But, you know, for him, having total belief in himself that that's not him, and he's going to be fine moving forward.
That's about all you can say right now, but it's obviously not all on Kerkering, though. The top 3 in the order, again, just had 1 hit in the game last night. The 3 losses, they mustered 3 hits between Turner, Harper, and Schwarber. The Phils now face a long offseason of tough decisions as their playoff run has come to an end. The Eagles got smoked by the Giants last night, 34-17 in the Meadowlands, as the offense once again stalled in the second half. They were shut out in that second half and now fall to 4-2 on the season through 6 weeks. The Flyers also lost last night in their season opener, 2-1 to the Florida Panthers on the road. Noah Cates scored the lone Flyers goal. We're going to talk to Andrew DeCecco coming up at 7:55 a.m. for his day after DeCecco. I'm Connor Thomas on your home for the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
High school sports rocking Philly, South Jersey, and all the amazing
I guess, and that's why the YouTube chat is a wonderful place, Johnny, this morning.
I think they handle days like this better than the most.
Some analysis from MBD. You can't break down the film from last night's Eagles game without a barf bucket. Mikey C. Good job, Howie. Dude never recovered from that beer can to the dome. This was, of course, in response to somebody mentioning that the Eagles just decided to say, see you, Darius Slay, we don't want you anymore, and we're not going to pay Isaiah Rodgers what the Vikings will pay. Because, my God, even though the story is going to be the offense today, and even though we're about to play you the audio from Ryan Kirkering last night following the Phillies' loss, Keely Ringo is not good. He's bad.
He's a disaster. No, he's a disaster, Eric.
Oh, he's been in the lab. He's been incubating for 3 years. There's a reason why he's not been on the field. And then last night he gets the starting nod, and then unfortunately Quinyon Mitchell has to exit. So now you have Adoree Jackson and Keely Ringo yesterday, and they made, third game, Jackson Dart look like Peyton Manning at times yesterday.
I told you yesterday the one thing. What was I worried about? The one thing I was worried about
him being able to escape the pocket and run.
And boy, did he
run. So
that's
not Peyton Manning.
With the minute I saw that you didn't have Jalen Carter
with the heel, and I knew that the heel and the MetLife turf.
The minute I
didn't feel good about it.
The minute I saw that, I'm like, crap.
Yep.
I said that's not good.
Jackson Dart was very comfortable yesterday throughout the course of that game.
I do think. And I said it yesterday, I think he's a problem. I think Jackson Dart, and I said it to Andrew DeCecco, I think there are now two young quarterbacks in the division that are going to be a problem. Whether they end up being something that supplants the Eagles eventually, I have no clue.
By the way, he did what he did last night. Jackson Dart, 17 of 25, 195 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions. Also ran 13 times for 58 yards and a touchdown. He did that throwing to Wan'Dale Robinson, Lil Jordan Humphrey, Theo Johnson, Jalen Hyatt, and Cam Scatterbo. Those are the guys he had to throw to yesterday because Malik Neighbors is gone, and there's nobody else on that team. That's who he was able to win with against the Philadelphia Eagles. By the way, it's a Football Friday brought to you by Norristown Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Drive into great deals at the fall sales event at Norristown Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram and get wicked good deals all month long on a Chrysler Dodge Jeep or Ram. Visit NorristownChryslerDodge.com. Phillies also lose. We're bouncing. It's the balancing act between the Phillies and the Eagles. Good cop, bad cop. Good cop, we're here for you.
Yeah, good luck doing this today, by the way.
We're here for you with the Phillies.
I'm glad to be sitting in this chair.
We're here for you with the Phillies. We will put our arm around you, and we will commiserate together and talk about the future and talk about the changes that must come. When it comes to the Eagles, we're not here for you as a shoulder to lean on. For anybody that is still trying to make excuses for this Eagles offense, it goes out the window today.
Yeah, enough.
Today. Enough is enough. 0 points against the New York Giants in the second half yesterday. And now, once again, Lane Johnson now talking about how the offense is predictable. After the game yesterday for the Phillies, we already played you the moment when it ended. Ryan Kirkering, dribbler back up the middle. He bobbles it, does not throw to first. He throws to the guy yelling, get your popcorn here, in the 18th row behind home plate. Phillies lose, just the second time in Major League Baseball history where a postseason series ended on an error. And, of course, we have to be one of those two times. Here is Ryan Kirkering outside of his locker following the moment that ended the season.
Just kind of, once that pressure got to me, I just thought it was a faster throw to JT, a little quicker throw than trying to cross-body the Bryce. So, just more shit throw.
Yeah. Did you hear them telling you to go to first at all, or were you just in the moment? It wasn't even
just in the moment.
Yeah.
Can you see JT pointing in that moment, or is it just kind of looking up?
Just kind of looking up, just be ready.
I mean, a lot of guys that never do like one of the first ones there. Just what do the guys say to you in that moment?
Just keep your head up. It's an honest mistake. Just it's baseball. It happens, and just keep your head up. You'll be good for a long time to come. It's not my fault. Just had opportunities to score. Just keep your head up.
Conversation with Rob too. What did he say? What does that say mean to you? About those guys picking you up so quick.
It means a lot. It shows they care a lot. Just means everything for sure.
I'm sure a lot of guys in here have had moments early in their career that, they can kind of remember very vividly. How much do you think you can use this kind of in the off season to for good?
For sure. Yeah, the wall with a tennis ball for sure. But, yeah, just kind of keep going with it. Hopefully hopefully it started a long career. Just keep back in my head of this really sucks right now, but hopefully keep pushing and get over this hump. Keep pushing.
All right, I want to have a candid conversation about Orion Kirkering here. Number one, you mentioned it, and I agree with you. Good for him for staying at the media and taking the questions. And
I've seen enough athletes go and run and hide.
Yeah,
and
good
to me, I admire Orion Kirkering.
Now,
bravo to the young man for standing there. And by the way, very poised.
Yeah,
very poised. You know, and you can tell he looks like he's on the verge of wanting to break down.
I think he got a lot of it out before.
Correct.
Look, Phillies PR weren't going to be like, "Here, Orion, we know you're in the middle of tears. Go talk to the media." They probably did a good job waiting for him to let him kind of calm down a little bit.
I admire it a lot. I admire the way he handled that a lot.
With that being said, he can't be on the Phillies next year.
No, he can't.
And here's why.
He's got to go.
I like, this isn't like, I never want to see him again, okay?
No.
This is, once there's a narrative on a player, and the narrative is this guy can't pitch with runners on base, this guy's going to come up small in big moments, oh, he can't handle this city. And oh, by the way, like, we all need a change of scenery every once in a while. When something so bad happens, you might need a change of scenery. So if I'm Orion Kirkering, I don't want to be in Philadelphia anymore. And you could say that's running and hiding, but yeah.
No, he didn't run and hide. If he wanted to run and hide, he would have run and hid last night, and he didn't. And I'm again admirable for that. He can't be here
because here's the deal.
He can't handle
the second he comes back. Let's say, look, knowing this fan base, opening day. Let's say he's still in the Phillies. Opening day 2025. He gets a standing ovation.
I guarantee it.
The fans, we love you. We show you support. But the second in April or May or June, where inherited runners are scoring, and we start seeing the same thing over and over again, that's going to quickly turn.
And both
turn.
And both responses are fair.
Absolutely.
I guarantee you, opening day, he would get a huge ovation.
Standing ovation.
I would
We're
imagine,
here for you.
I would imagine he may get the biggest ovation.
Could be.
Because I think this fan base would do that. But as you said, it would end up in the minute that he, started to crap the bed again.
Yeah, we'd flip.
Then
real
we'd flip.
quick.
And by the way, that's absolutely okay.
Yeah.
That's absolutely okay.
And so I think that's the most fair conversation to have. It's not get him out of here.
Right. I mean, but the bottom line is this. I think he's shown us enough. He's not built, and I don't want to say he's not built for Philly. He's maybe not built for the pressure situations.
High leverage moments. Yeah, maybe
he's
not.
Just not. Because clean innings, he's great.
Yeah. But not stuff like last
night. And so I asked the question, and we'll delve into it more later. So why did you do it?
Yeah, look,
in the biggest high leverage moment of the year, why did you ignore what you already know about Orion Kirkering?
Yeah. No, I hear you, Johnny. And we'll talk about Rob Thompson. And I just, to make it clear, because everybody on YouTube, what about the top of the order?
We've been all over it.
We've mentioned them, and we'll continue.
And we will continue to
because those guys, Turner, Schwarber, Harper, deserve every bit of heat that they get last night, that they get today, that they get throughout the entire offseason. I know some of it's emotional, but for people that say, I don't want to see Schwarber here anymore, I think that's maybe not the best idea. But, hey, if you have that feeling, go for it, dude. It's another postseason where he does nothing except for one moment.
Yep.
All right, coming up next. There was a specific moment, speaking of moments, that showed just how not up to speed Kevin Patullo is as the offensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles. Also, Jalen Hurts doesn't get by today either. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
John Marks and Ray Dunn. Your middays will never be the same again.
The show for the people.
Middays with Marks. Every weekday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Right here on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Specific moment that points out Kevin Patullo maybe in over his head from last night that I will tell you about here momentarily. But let's get to the text line. I know the people need a vent. Look, last night, John, I said to you during one of our commercials, I wish we didn't have commercials today. Like, I could keep going. Between both these teams, right? The Phillies season coming to an end. The top three guys in the order doing squat. I almost cursed. Orion Kirkering and the moment yesterday that will be just burned into my brain for the rest of my life. The Eagles' offense back-to-back weeks and losing them football games, and it's been multiple weeks now where we have issues to talk about. I wanted to do the show last night. I went on Instagram Live. I couldn't wait. Anyways, what do we got on the text line, Connor?
John C., who's from Manayunk but lives in Tennessee now, says, when people across America wonder why Philly fans are the way we are, last night was a perfect example. Depending on your age, 3, 4, or 5 decades of that will make you bitter, ready to go crazy for any championship.
It's just I've never seen it before. Well, we have 9 years ago to the day when Rugnit Odor ended a series like that. But think about it. In the 200 years of Major League Baseball? However long the sport's been around. 150 years of Major League Baseball. It's happened twice.
And you know what I'll say to those people, to the people going like that? You've gotten to watch postseason baseball the last 4 years. You get to see it a lot. And there are 24 cities that are sitting at home with no teams to root for. So I get you. Oh, woe is us. Cry me a river. Get out the Smalls violin. I'll play it for you. It is a blessing to play in October. It is great. Yes, it's great. Would you rather not play in October?
I'd rather play in October.
I'd rather play in October and deal with all the nonsense than have my team be a non-factor.
I'd rather play in January. I'd rather play in like June or July. I hate postseason baseball. I'm sorry.
I love postseason baseball.
I love it.
I like being in the playoffs.
I watch all the teams.
Watching it.
But last night, the way that ended is just outrageous and ridiculous, the fact that it ended that way. Give us another text, Connor.
All right. Leslie in Maryland checks in, says, now is the time to call Doug P. and Frank. This Eagles team is so disinterested. There are no grown-ups in there other than Vic. Shame on Howie and Jeffrey if this continues without serious change.
They hired a man, and I said it all summer. It was my biggest fear, and my biggest fear ends up being a complete reality.
Yeah.
It's a complete reality. They hired a guy who for 18 years managed to be around NFL teams, and never once did someone go, yep. They identify the bright guys in radio, in sales, in marketing. If you see a new employee, you see a young guy, they go, that's the guy.
Yep.
Let's bring him along. Kevin Patullo managed to be in this game almost 2 decades without anybody saying, yep, let's have him call plays.
And so last night, there was a specific moment, and I always try to warn people that go, yeah, well, look at the talent. Or, yeah, well, look at how long he's been in the NFL. John and I have made this very clear. Kevin Patullo has forgotten more about football than we know, right?
Yeah, that's not an issue.
And I talked about this with Brian Johnson after he was relieved of his duties following the 2023 season. Does not mean that he is not a bad coach. It doesn't mean he's a bad coach, right?
Correct.
He could be a very good quarterback's coach.
He could be, yes.
And just not have a clue when it comes to being an offensive coordinator. Kevin Patullo could be a very great game day sideline guy.
He may be a good offensive assistant.
Sure, throughout the week, come up with some plays here and there. But when the headset is on and you have to call plays and you have to get it within a certain amount of time, you need to be clicking on all cylinders. And learning on the job is not something you want to do with a team that has Super Bowl expectations. Maybe with the New York Jets and a new coaching staff, okay, let's see if we learn on the job a little bit. But it seemed like the Eagles that's trying to be the defending Super Bowl champions, or they are the defending Super Bowl champions, trying to repeat. Learning on the job's not good. So here's the moment, Johnny.
I don't know how people bought into it.
Here's the moment. There's 20 seconds left in the first half.
Oh, my gosh.
Pass incomplete. Then you call a timeout. By the way, pass incomplete, deep shot downfield, when really you should just be trying to get in the field goal range.
Correct.
The Giants call a timeout because they're thinking, oh, man, we could potentially get a stop here. We're right around midfield. You never know what happens. Block, punt, whatever. And then they dial up a play where Jalen Hurts scrambles for 9 yards with 0 timeouts left. Tick, tick, tick.
How?
Tick, 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 tick. They don't realize it's 4th down now. Jalen's lining up to spike the football.
Not even understanding the game time situation. He pulled an Orion Kirkering.
Somebody has to tell Jalen, yo, it's 4th down. No spike. No spike. This is also on Nick Sirianni for not having the special teams ready. We've seen it before where the special teams is literally their toes are on the white lines.
They weren't ready.
And the second to play, if they don't get a first down, they have to book their freaking rear ends to the field to try to line up for a field goal, which, by the way, they were in field goal range. It was deep, but with the way the footballs are flying this year,
you take a
they
shot.
were in field goal range.
And you take a chance.
And that is when you have an inexperienced offensive coordinator and maybe a game day manager where I think Nick Sirianni more often than not is on top of things, but he was not in that moment.
Where's the special teams coach?
Yeah, all
to have them all ready to go too.
And so here's Jalen Hurts after the game talking about how he could have managed time better before halftime.
Yeah, well, you don't have any timeouts. You got to be really smart about how you manage the clock, being able to get out of bounds, and we could have managed that better. Ultimately, sense of urgency maybe to get the first down, get out of bounds, but as a carrier of the ball, knowing the situation, and I guess having a plan with the ball in my hands with that. And so that's a good situation. I know that'll foster a lot of conversation within our offensive group, and be able to learn from Coach Scott and KP and Nick from that, and kind of collaborate and see how we can grow and improve from that.
What's we on that? He said we 3 times.
Well, he's taking accountability for running and then sliding and,
We. Jalen, you have to be aware. I have to be aware. I made a bad play. I cost us an opportunity. I could have thrown the ball out of bounds and stopped the clock.
Right. Or that's got to be drilled into his head because the previous it was a timeout before that play by the Giants.
Like, you kidding me?
That's got to be drilled in his head by Sirianni or Patullo. Whoever it is, somebody's got to drill that in his head. Hey, we have no timeouts left. You can't throw over the middle of the field. It's got to be sideline. We live for the field goal. And unfortunately, an inexperienced offensive coordinator may not have done that. We'll see. I don't know. We'll find out when Patullo speaks over the weekend. But to your point, John, Jalen Hurts was bad yesterday. And I understand a lot of the heat will go toward Kevin Patullo, as it should. Majority of the heat should go to Kevin Patullo. When Lane Johnson is saying that we can't be too predictable, that's the offensive coordinator. That's not Jalen Hurts. That's not anybody on the offense. That's not A.J. Brown talking about how they didn't have a meeting last week, which we'll get into a little bit. That's on the offensive coordinator. But Jalen Hurts, there were plays where receivers were open.
Absolutely.
Completely missed.
Completely missed.
The pick six was on nobody but him. Running at the end of the half like that is on him. I understand that we love Jalen, all right? Super Bowl MVP. But if we're talking about honeymoon phase being over, right, from winning the Super Bowl, we're not trying to be the same fan base we were in 2018 where they could do no wrong. If we're holding them to a standard, that goes to everybody, including the quarterback, who I think a lot of people are hesitant to be critical of. This isn't hate. This isn't get him out of here. This isn't what a lot of the hot take media people do and say he's not a top 10 quarterback.
Correct.
But let's call it like it is. Jalen Hurts wasn't good yesterday either. All right, coming up next, I put out a half-joking tweet last night, Johnny.
Did you?
But we'll actually talk about it next. If I said, how does this offense with all this star power look so bad? You tell me which team I'm talking about. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
A terrible day in Philly sports. I'm Connor Thomas, and with 3 teams in action yesterday, Philadelphia sports ended up going 0-3 in some abysmal ways. Let's start with the Phillies, whose season came to an end in the 11th inning in Game 4 of the NLDS against the Dodgers last night, as Orion Kirkering made a throwing error to home with the bases loaded and the game tied at 1. It was one of the more brutal ways to lose a game that you'll ever see, and Kyle Schwarber talked about it after the game.
Obviously for us, it sucks, right? It ended up being the play that ends the game. But, for him, having total belief in himself that that's not him, and he's going to be fine moving forward.
It's obviously not all on Kerkering, though, with the Phillies season coming to an end. The top three in the order had just one hit again in the game last night. They had 3 hits in the 3 losses in the series. The Phils now face a long offseason of tough decisions. Eagles got smoked by the Giants last night, 34-17. The offense stalled again in the second half. They were shut out in that second half and now fall to 4-2 on the season through 6 weeks. And the Flyers lost last night in the season opener, 2-1 to the Florida Panthers on the road. Noah Cates scored the lone Flyers goal. We'll talk to Andrew DeCecco coming up at 7:55. Kevin Nagandi at 9:10. This update is brought to you by Rapid Radios. Their instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies with nationwide LTE coverage. For a limited time, get 60% off and free UPS shipping at rapidradios.com. Use code RADIO for an extra 5% off. I'm Connor Thomas on your home for the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
The Philadelphia 76ers.
97.5 The Fanatic. So I put out a poll yesterday,
Yes.
Johnny, on my personal Twitter account, Salciunas975.
Yeah.
I said, let's play a fun game. If I said all this money invested into this offense and they can't stop struggling, which team am I talking about? Phillies or Eagles? Now, 65% of the people said Phillies. 35% said Eagles because the Phillies and the way the season ended because of the offense, a little bit more raw, a little bit more pain yesterday when it comes to the Phillies. But it truly is amazing that both of these teams right now, you look at the talent on paper and you look around, you go, wait a minute.
What's going on here?
Turner, Schwarber, Harper, a collective 3 for 35 in the 3 losses to the Dodgers. The Eagles' offense is number 1 in 3 and outs in the NFL with,
and by the
with
way,
Jalen, AJ, Devontae, Dallas, Saquon.
By the way, those numbers that we have, they got worse last night.
Yes, they did.
So, I mean, they got worse.
They absolutely did. It's unbelievable what we witnessed yesterday. Again, we are here for you when it comes to the Phillies. When it comes to the Eagles, if you're still trying to make excuses, you can try, but you'll get pushed back. And Connor, I know you're Mr. Patient over there. Like there's no time left.
No,
like,
absolutely
patience
not.
is out. Like goodbye, because this was the time last year, right, where you were saying, I think it was the Giants game last year. Like I got to see it in this game, and you saw it last night, Week 6, pretty much the exact same timeline, same team, and for a moment you're saying, wow, look at some of the good things for the Eagles offense. And then they just went to crap again. Entire second half,
All over
0
again.
points. It's unbelievable what this team continues to do week in and week out.
Yeah, there's no time for patience today. I don't know who the hell could watch that game last night and be like, oh, okay, we're still in the patience zone for anybody on the Eagles. They got to wake up and play damn football. Now, the only difference between the Eagles and Phillies when it comes to that poll is Jalen Hurts has been a guy that when he gets put in big moments, he shows up like every single time. The Phillies don't have like a single one of those guys right now.
Yeah, unbelievable.
The one thing I would say, though, is, Connor, is that the people who preach patience to us got us to last night. The people who kept saying, be patient, it's the first month, and Kevin Patullo will be fine, it'll all work out, and you guys are being too demanding, and he's got to learn. You're the people who got us here. Because patience, we could see with our own 2 eyes that somebody could be tossed the keys of Detroit's offense and score 40 points a week for a month and didn't need patience, didn't need time, didn't need all this. And the Eagles offense, it's like, okay, it's quantum physics. We can't do it here. Here, it's very complex. No, there's dysfunction. There's absolute dysfunction.
I mean, it's not fair to say the people who preached patience got us to last night. Like, what would you have done?
No. Here's what I don't want to hear, and I'm just being honest. I don't want to hear from any one of them. Now it's not time to be patient. Because those people weren't listening when we were telling them, there's a tornado coming, everybody to the basement, everybody inside, get downstairs, get safe. They were the people going, we got time. Everything's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It'll be okay. It was easy to see this was coming.
No, I understand what you're saying, but what did you want? Kevin Patullo fired in the first month of the season?
But I wanted urgency.
Listen,
I didn't want to see them giving the same BS answers week after week after week after week.
Well, last week he said we did some good things against the Broncos.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, last week he was giving us that nonsense.
Yeah, Kevin Patullo, but I mean, you've got a meeting that may or may not have happened between the top 3 players on the team. You've got a wide receiver lose his mind. You got everybody talking about this offense needs to be less predictable. Like, they're trying, they just can't figure it out, and that's ridiculous.
All right, you mentioned the meeting as you're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. In about 2 minutes, we'll play you the interaction, reporters with A.J. Brown after the game yesterday. And also, you'll hear from Damian Woody, who reacted to the Eagles' offensive performance and just how bad it was again yesterday. But as we continue to react to the Phillies as well, we got some callers that want to talk about it. Let's go to Australia and talk to our man, Brian. What's up, Brian? How you doing, brother?
Hi, Brian.
I mean, what can I say? It's gone from another country. I'm embarrassed. I'm upset. I mean, what do you want me to say?
Well, I want you to say what's on your mind.
I want
please.
you to just let it all out.
Firing out of
like,
come on,
let it all
fire
out
of the
Brian.
gate. Let's go.
I'm not allowed to on air right now. I already got that mostly out. But I'm going to get your opinion. Bottom of the 7th, they intentionally walk Ohtani.
What did you think about that?
1 for 18.
Yeah, I'm still
I
doing
think
it.
it's bullshit.
Sorry.
Well, that's okay. Thanks for the call.
You can't say
It's
that.
okay. It's okay.
I get
Curse.
it.
Look,
I get it.
he's angry.
I'm
telling you right
by the
now,
way,
I was totally fine with
at
it.
the
I was
time-
totally fine with it.
At the time, I wouldn't have done it, but I said I was totally okay with
Yeah,
it
that's fine.
because I understand the strategy, the decision that was made. I don't think it was a dumb decision. I don't think it was a reckless decision. I don't think it was bad baseball strategy.
No, it's Shohei Ohtani.
It's Shohei Ohtani, and one of those times, and if he launches one into the parking lot, I'd go, damn, maybe we shouldn't have pitched to him.
Right.
But he has looked so overmatched, and I think in that situation I would have pitched him.
It's 100% walking every time.
I'm walking him. And then it's unfortunate that Duran can't find the zone.
And Duran
against
can't
Betts.
even. Yeah.
It's a shame.
And
By the way,
again,
Teoscar Hernandez bailed him out too with that strikeout.
And again, you put Duran into a situation that he's never pitched in.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, that's not on the manager. That's on come out of the bullpen and throw damn strikes.
I got you.
Here's
Again, you're asking guys, gentlemen. Let me just say, you're asking someone in the biggest game of the year, biggest situation ever, new team, to do something that you've never asked them to do in the major leagues.
So here's my response. There is nobody in that bullpen, and I've been very consistent with this, that I trust. I don't trust anybody in that bullpen. I
understand you.
I don't trust Ajita Robertson, Ajita Strom.
You wouldn't have stayed with. You would not have stayed with. You're not staying there.
I'm bringing in my guy that I traded for. That's supposed to be this electric pitcher, which he is. He still is electric.
He still is. He has not been in his biggest games though as a Philly.
I know you've pointed it out.
He did not do well.
But I'm doing that. I'm totally fine with that move. It came back to bite them. But ultimately, once again, if your bats did anything, you're probably not even in that situation. But unfortunately, your bats did nothing.
Let you down.
They let you down.
Our Coach Vinny was giving me grief. He's like, you seem all over the place on who's to blame here. No.
First and
not all over the
foremost,
place.
it is
1, 2,
Turner,
3.
Schwarber, Harper.
I said, can we make it any more clear? So I told Coach Vin, I'm going to type really slowly for you if you don't get it. 1, 2, 3 is the major reason you lost the series.
The series.
Orion Kerkering last night is the reason you lost a 12th inning chance.
Yep.
That's all.
Rob Thompson may be the reason why you lost the game. There's multiple people.
Rob Thompson is, I believe, a reason you didn't go to L.A. 1-1.
Sure.
So,
but ultimately, the series, those three guys,
there it is.
Three for 35 in the 3 games they lost.
There it is. I mean, but I absolutely, though, I do not question Rob Thompson on walking Ohtani.
Yeah.
And I think anybody who does, at the time, I would have pitched to him. But to me, I'm not questioning Rob Thompson on that. I think that is sound. To me, that is traditional sound baseball strategy.
Put the 4 fingers up and you put them on first.
I'm going to let somebody else, but when it's Mookie Betts.
No, I got you. Look,
when it's Mookie Betts.
That's why the Dodgers are going to win the World Series. All right, so A.J. Brown outside of his locker yesterday after another Eagles lackluster performance on offense. A.J. Brown was asked about the meeting of the minds with him, Jalen Hurts, and Saquon Barkley.
I don't recall the meeting. Oh, okay. The meeting never happened.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Those guys said it did happen.
Oh, you need to talk to them.
You weren't in the meeting?
I don't recall.
All right, here's my question.
He's joking around.
I know he's joking around, but why?
Because he doesn't want to talk about the meeting. Jeff McClain tweeted it out last night after the game. He said, I was there. Here's my read on it. AJ didn't want to talk about the meeting, so he's just be like, move on. I'm not talking about the meeting.
Can we do it a little bit differently?
I got
just
you.
say,
That's
hey,
him. That's him.
Like Nick Sirianni says, all that stuff happens in-house. And that's, like, don't do the whole...
I got you.
It's catty.
Yeah, but we have bigger problems. Like some people say next question. Some people say I'm just here so I don't get fined.
I know.
With AJ, and I've said it before, this is a man who is always going to create drama. He can't just answer a question. It's one of the reasons why I said to you earlier, I respect the Phillies a hell of a lot about how they handled their business. He can't just answer a question. He has to create the subterfuge, the drama, the double talking, he can't just answer a question.
Yeah.
But absolutely, there was a meeting.
Yeah, there was a meeting. Damian Woody, you heard it on the overnight on ESPN last night reacting to the Eagles' loss to the New York Giants. Here's former NFL player Damian Woody talking about this Eagles offense.
They're very predictable on offense. I mean, you got your quarterback lining up in the shotgun about 80, 90% of the time. It's hard to do. They can't run the football consistently. The play-action pass game is almost non-existent. There's a lot of tells that you can do just watching the Philadelphia Eagles on offense. So they got to mix things up. They got to get the quarterback under center more, just change things up offensively, because if I can see it, you better believe that the opposition, the coaches who are scouting these things much more than I am, they can see it as well.
I can't forget Christian McCaffrey on the Manning cast in 2023 predicting the plays. And I remember talking about it. This is a guy in real time just saying, oh, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. What do you think defensive players and defensive coordinators are doing? And we're doing this all over again. And I know people are telling us, like Andrew DeCecco saying, hey, look, the vibe is not the same as 2023. And I think that is important.
And we get that.
But when you hear predictability, when you start talking about how radio hosts and fans at home can see what plays are coming, when there is 90% of the time they're under center, they're running the football, and 80% they're in shotgun, they're throwing the football.
This is where no more excuses for Kevin Patullo, period. This is it.
Hurts has his issues that he needs to work on. A.J. Brown has his issues that he needs to work on. But Kevin Patullo, this isn't like blame Jalen, blame OC, blame the offensive line, blame wide receiver. Predictability is on the offensive coordinator.
And that's bottom line. It's not about execution.
Coming up next, speaking of the offense, it wasn't as egregious. That's saying something. But back-to-back weeks with a similar Saquon storyline. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Whether you're at the job site, sitting in your cubicle, or even working from home,
In a few minutes, I'm going to talk about the impact of the Orion Kerkering play, the immediate reaction for fans, not just Phillies fans, but baseball fans all across the world, because my algorithm has become something that I'll tell you about in a few minutes. But real quick, before we get to the Orion Kerkering final play, which was the final play of the 2025 season for the Philadelphia Phillies, as we continue to try to figure out what the hell is wrong with this Eagles offense, and I think we all know that predictability is number one now that Lane Johnson said as much yesterday after the game, and that falls on one man only. That's Kevin Patullo and Nick Sirianni, because he's part of the game planning, obviously. I have to ask you guys, back-to-back weeks where Saquon Barkley in the second half just doesn't exist. I understand.
After showing that he's ready to contribute.
So yesterday in the first half, 8 carries for 56 yards, including an 18-yard run, which was his longest, beating last week's long of 17 yards, longest of the season. Now, I understand that they were losing, but that does not mean
they were losing by 3.
You go completely away from it. So 8 carries for 56 yards in the first half, 4 carries for 2 yards in the second half. So did you really, if you're the Eagles offense, you're Kevin Patullo, did you really see in those 4 carries, wow, the Giants have our ground game figured out.
They didn't.
We can't do this anymore.
I can't get over it.
4 carries.
By the way, too, the number you talked about at halftime, the numbers for Saquon. I would tell you, if you want to be a real dork, because if you just joined my club, you can be one. I looked at some of his biggest games last year.
Mm-hmm.
Some of his biggest games,
the second
his
half.
halftime numbers were just like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, his biggest games, that was what they looked like last year. And instead, Kevin Patullo is like, nah, once again, we're just not going to do it.
4 carries in the second half.
That was, again, it's malpractice.
Yeah.
We are letting somebody, he's not prepared. It's not, when you're talking about when guys like Damian Woody, and we heard from Damian, and you hear guys who study the NFL, Dan Orlovsky, they study the NFL full time. That's their job. And they say that this team is the most predictable, the most easy to decipher just by looking at them and saying this is what they're going to do. That's really bad. And that's on the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, absolutely. Back-to-back weeks. Think about this for a second. Back-to-back weeks. If I told you Saquon Barkley, 6 carries for 30 yards, 12 carries for 58 yards, you're going to say, wow, did he exit the game?
Yes.
Like, did he get hurt?
Is there a pulled hammy or something?
Did something happen? And then when I say, no, they just stopped running the football, then you might say, all right, so they were down like 40-0 at halftime, right? No, they were winning 17-3 against the Broncos at halftime, and they were down 3 at halftime against the Giants. Against, by the way, the Giants' top 3 worst rushing defenses in the NFL this year.
Do we need to mention, just in fairness, that the Eagles were missing arguably their 2 best defensive players? Because Jalen Carter was out.
Sure.
And in the second quarter, you lost Quinyon Mitchell.
Sure.
Do we need to, how much of that affected the whole game? Now, it doesn't affect Kevin Patullo's play calling because offensively you were moving the ball.
No, it shouldn't affect
it that. But how much did that?
You need to score points.
I mean, my God. And the bottom line is this. It's 11:30 to go in the game. 2nd and 10 on the 15-yard line of the Giants. You're in the red zone. You have Saquon, AJ, Devontae, Dallas Goedert on the field.
Yep.
And you draw up a play for Jahan Dotson. That ends up being the pick 6.
Well, they're not going to think that they're going to go to Jahan, so let's try to pull a fast one on them.
You've got AJ, Devontae, Saquon, Dallas. You go to the 5th best option with a design play because if you go and you watch it again, Jalen Hurts stares him down. By the way, that's on Jalen.
That is on Jalen.
He stares him down. There's no subterfuge. He looks from the minute he gets the ball, Jalen turns his head and stares down Jahan Dotson. He doesn't look off. He doesn't create any kind of where's he going with it? He looks right at Jahan Dotson, and it helps to get that ball picked off for the pick 6. You're designing a play there. You're down by 10. It's critical. And you're saying, yeah, look, we got AJ, we got Devontae, we got Dallas, we got Saquon. You know what we're going to do, though? Let's shock them. Let's go to Jahan Dotson. That to me is, again, it's just you're out thinking yourself.
By the way, that's your second subterfuge this week. Is that the new grouse?
It is a great word. It is a great word, though. I love that word.
All right, here's the moment. The Phillies season came to an end yesterday, and then I'll tell you about what my algorithm is on social media now at this point.
No balls and a strike. Pages breaks his bat. Kirkring got to find it. Throws to the plate. Oh, my goodness. He throws it away. And the Dodgers have won. The Dodgers win. And they are moving on to the NLCS. And a most improbable finish. Pandemonium at Dodger Stadium. And your heart breaks for Ryan Kirkring.
So my algorithm now
is I Love L.A.? Gotta hate that song.
No, my algorithm now is anybody that does they stream themselves while watching the game.
Oh, jeez.
Whether it's the Barstool folks or who's the wacky pitcher from the Athletics with the big beard through the note.
Braden?
Dallas Braden.
Dallas Braden. Yeah,
Dallas
like,
Braden.
He does it with Jared Carabas, right? Like these, it's I would never watch somebody else watching the games like the Manning casting. I don't really care. But my algorithm now is everybody's immediate reaction to Orion Kirkering, and everybody's is the same. Whether you're a Phillies fan or you're just somebody that loves the sport, you can't even have an immediate angry reaction. Your immediate reaction is, what the hell just happened?
That was my... I sent it immediately. I just said, what was he thinking?
Anger came out a couple minutes later.
Oh, I had anger right away.
I'm sure. Oh, right
Like,
away. You didn't stare at the screen for at least 20 seconds. Like,
no.
Did I just witness what I just witnessed?
I'm going to the chair store today for 2 new chairs for my apartment.
Okay.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I absolutely did. Throwing a ball to the backstop. Get out of here.
That's incredible.
All right, coming up next, we hear from you. I'm sorry. There's just been so much to unpack.
By the way, my buddy Joe, who you know, he says, "How dare you guys play that sound bite again?" He's like, he don't want to hear it this morning.
Somebody
get it.
Somebody said to me yesterday, it's the Phillies Kawhi shot where you're like, oh my God, that went in.
It's unbelievable.
How did that happen?
Well, that was a referee assisted thing.
Coming up next, we'll check your text messages, 610-632-0975. Also, if the Eagles' offense is as predictable as everybody's making it out to be,
except to them,
does somebody need more heat for this? And I'm talking about a specific person. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
An 0-for-3 day. I'm Connor Thomason with 3 teams in action yesterday. Philadelphia sports ended up going 0-3. Let's start with the Phillies, whose season came to an end in the 11th inning in Game 4 as Orion Kirkring made a throwing error to home with the bases loaded and the game tied at 1. It was one of the more brutal ways to lose a game you'll ever see. It's only the second series-ending error in Major League Baseball history. And Kyle Schwarber talked about the Orion Kirkring play and Kirkring's mood after the game.
You know, obviously for us, it sucks, right? It ended up being the play that ends the game. But, you know, for him, having total belief in himself that that's not him and he's going to be fine moving forward.
And as the series comes to an end, it's obviously not all on Orion Kirkring, as the top 3 in the order again had just 1 hit in the game last night. The Phils now face a long offseason of tough decisions with the roster. The Eagles got smoked by the Giants last night, 34-17, as the offense once again stalled in the second half. They were shut out in that second half and now fall to 4-2 on the season. The Flyers also lost last night in their season opener, 2-1 to the Florida Panthers on the road. Noah Cates scored the only goal. Andrew DeCecco will join us coming up at 7:55. Kevin Nagandi at 9:10. This update is brought to you by the Electrical Workers Local 269 and the Electrical Training Alliance. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 269, NECA, and the Electrical Training Alliance can offer a career with no college debt. To learn more, go to IBEW269.com. I'm Connor Thomas on your home for the best birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
A lot with this Eagles offense. We're going to roll through a bunch of calls and texts here, but just real quick, I want to save this topic because this will be a topic for another day. So think of this as like you're watching TV and you get the coming to a theater near you. All
Yes.
right? We're going to have a legitimate conversation about Nick Sirianni and his loyalty. Because by all accounts, I remember Jeff McClain telling us during the offseason, this was Nick's hire of Kevin Patullo.
He was allowed to hire his guy.
And they said a lot of it was because they won the Super Bowl. Nick Sirianni deserved the respect. And I appreciate Howie Roseman going, all right, we respect you. You're the Super Bowl winning head coach. I just don't appreciate that it was a very loyalty-based promotion.
See, the funny thing is I don't. I haven't from the beginning, so I'm not going to change.
No, I know.
I don't believe that's how things are done because he's shown before he can't be trusted with his, here's the guy I think can do the job.
Right.
He can't be trusted with that.
He picked his buddy.
Nick Sirianni does a lot of really, really good things.
Absolutely.
And if you tell the whole story, you tell the whole story. Hiring, not one of them. Picking buddies for jobs, not one of them.
So we'll save that for another day.
Yeah, that's another day. It's like all the people going, when are you guys getting into the personnel questions for next year for the Phillies? Honestly, we'll be doing that next week.
We'll
be doing that next week. Today's not the day to be going, okay, let's get deep into next year's roster.
No, today's a day where we commiserate, man.
And we need to divest of a little bit of the emotion before you start getting into, well, where do you go from here?
Sure. Trade everybody. Get rid of everybody. All right, let's go to the phones. Let's go to Alan in Jersey.
That's
What's
on the
up?
table, by
What's
the
up,
way.
Alan? How you doing?
Good morning, John. I listen to you and Sal depending on my work schedule, and you're great. And
Thanks, dude.
there's two things. First, baseball. Forget Kirkland. I know it's easy to pick on him, but I think it was Schwarber's interview. And you said, John, very clearly, both of you said, they're 1 for 23, was it? 24?
They're 3 for 35 in the three games they lost.
3 for 35.
Yeah, and that was a repeat against the Mets last year.
Yeah.
They were out in
No, it was worse. It was worse than that last year. How about that?
It was worse. Yeah, okay. It was worse.
It's hard to believe, but it was worse.
Yeah, look, you're right, Alan. It's hard not to forget about Orion Kirkland because that play will be burned into my brain.
All he cost them was a chance to play a 12th inning.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. But those are number two. That is the last night. I know everybody wants to talk about the offense. I've been an Eagle fan. I grew up in South Central New Jersey. I had no influence when it came to football. So at 6 years old, I saw the eagle on a helmet. And I fell in love with the Eagles, and I've stood with the Eagles my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm getting at is that is one of the most disgraceful defensive performances. Unfortunately, I have to watch the Giants. And I was trying to get into not your show because of my work schedule, and the fact that someone had to be shadowing Jackson Dart, number one.
Like a spy.
He had his way with the Eagles defense running the football. It was one of your picks, like bet wise. It was one of your picks.
I said it, and I knew it. I watched Jackson Dart since college.
Yeah,
and he had a really, really smart offensive coach in college. He's a talented guy, and I think you got a problem. I think you have a problem with Jackson Dart in this division. But last night, that was ridiculous.
No, and once
for him.
Jalen Carter's out, once Quinyon Mitchell leaves the game,
I mean, it was
they exposed Keely Ringo early. Then Adoree Jackson goes out there. By the way, there was a couple. Drew McCuba had a couple of really bad missed tackles yesterday.
Bad.
It was
really bad.
And I've talked about the open field tackling issues with this team, except for one person. Cooper DeJean's the only guy that has been consistent in the open field making tackles, and I remember bringing that up with DeCecco, and he said, if you remember, that was an issue early on last year, so maybe it gets better because they don't play in the preseason anymore, which I'm tired of that excuse, but okay. So hopefully it gets better. But I will say this, man. I don't think it's going to last forever because I don't know if you can play that way every single down. But, man, that Cam Scatterbo runs with, freaking viciousness.
He's awesome, isn't he?
Every time he touches the ball, it's viciousness. Now, can you continue that over like a 6-year NFL career? Like at some point, I imagine he gets burnt out. But
Well, no. At some point, he'll get burnt out.
Yeah.
Is it going to be soon enough for our liking?
Right, exactly. Yesterday,
And by the way, he had people, again, yesterday. I put it out last night, had a few people giving me grief about it. At any time last night, did you sort of feel like the Eagles looked like they had quit on that game? Like they had sort of checked out?
No, I don't really get that
did.
sense.
Oh,
I just thought the offense was putrid.
Their body language sucked. Their energy sucked. Looking at that sideline, man.
Look, when
that fourth quarter, once Jalen threw the pick six.
The pick six.
Okay,
I'll agree.
Right
After the pick six,
after
you're
the
like,
pick six, that team looked like it was just like, well, we're done.
Yeah,
we're finished. And to me, you're the Super Bowl champions. And I saw the slumped shoulders and the mopey faces and everything. I got no time for that.
Yeah, I got you.
You're the champs.
Let's go to Eddie in South Jersey. Eddie, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Good morning. How's it going?
What's
Hi,
up,
Eddie? It's been better. It's been better.
Yeah, well, the Philly game, the Eagles game, I'm not going to go crazy about because the season is starting and they'll be all right. But I want to talk about the Phillies.
Yep, who are done, unfortunately.
And I think that it's time that either they get rid of Rob Thompson or they get rid of some of those players.
Well, they're going to do that. They're going to do one of those two things, and I think there's a good chance that they do both of those things.
Absolutely.
I would hope so because Rob Thompson yesterday, you can share your opinion and tell me if you feel the same sentiment. There was no reason for him to walk Ohtani. Ohtani wasn't doing nothing, and you got Durant in there. That's why you got Durant.
Yeah, I still stand by the baseball decision to put on the best player maybe in the history of the sport.
I think
on first base.
I think that is a decision that would be made almost 4 out of 5 managers at minimum are doing that. And
But
so
if he was
I'm not going to
hitting-
criticize
if he
Rob
was
Thompson
hitting-
for that.
If he was hitting, I would have accepted that. But he looks horrible right now.
He did.
And all batters go through that.
Yeah,
You
but
gotta
look,
take advantage
a guy
when you bring those-
like
No.
look. When your
I get
sentiment about Rob Thompson potentially being done, and thanks for the call. We're going to talk about that actually next segment because we have audio.
Right.
Topper was asked about it. Trey Turner was asked about it. Bryce Harper was asked about it. We will play those clips for you coming up. But again, the Ohtani walk, like this guy. This guy is maybe the best player in the history of the sport.
I'm not criticizing Rob Thompson for walking Ohtani.
You want to criticize Rob Thompson for going to Orion Kirkering with runners on base when he's been bad all year with it? Yeah, sure.
And I do believe you seem to feel differently, and that's fine. I do believe that in postseason games, the highest pressure situations, one thing I'm not doing is going, I'm going to do something that this guy, I'm going to ask him to do something he's never, ever done before. I don't believe you do that.
I was
just
fine
don't
with
believe-
Duran going out.
I don't believe you do that in.
But I also personally dislike a lot of this bullpen.
What do we always?
I've never hid that.
I
from
can't
you
wait
guys.
to hear Ricky talk about it because Ricky always talks about the fact is baseball players more than any other
Creatures of habit.
need to understand their role, need to understand where they're comfortable, need to get into that routine, and it's mentally where they're at. So, in the biggest opportunity, the biggest time of the year, you just start doing things where you go, "Hey, David Robertson, game 1. We're going to do an up and down with you here. You haven't done it all year, but you know what? Get up there, boy."
But speaking of David Robertson, if they put out David Robertson in that situation or Kirkering in that situation,
He gets smoked if they lose.
Yeah, and
No, he
so
does.
I'd rather go down with my best guy out of the bullpen. And
Who did they take out to do that?
Well, Sanchez. And if you,
Do you would you have left? Would you have
I
let
would
him?
have kept going with him.
I would have kept going with him too. Connor?
I was fine with Duran in that spot. I mean, you look at the history of playoff baseball. How many times do we see starters for the first time ever come out to like close out a game or something like that? Like guys do stuff all the time they've never been asked to do in postseason.
It's the
baseball.
seventh inning.
John
It's the
asked you, are
seventh
you
inning.
taking Sanchez
Are you
out?
taking Sanchez out of that
know.
game last
That's
night?
why I'm saying yes, because I would go with Duran there. Like you needed someone different.
I'm taking Sanchez. I'm not letting. I'm going down with my best pitcher. My best pitcher, who has, by the way, done a great job all year.
By the way, they peed away 2 outings of his.
No question.
It's unbelievable. And
No
again,
question.
that's why, once more, in case people are just tuning in, I know the big story is the Kirkering play, and we've
1,
talked
2,
about
3.
it. Turner, Schwarber, Harper.
The greatest no showman.
Abysmal again yesterday. 3 for 35 combined in the 3 losses. So it's great and all that they had a really fun game 3. And then the very next day, and that's why our YouTube audience, shout out to YouTube as always, when we asked the question after game 3, Is there more hope? Is there more belief? A lot of people immediately on our YouTube was like, no, because how am I supposed to know the offense will do that again? And they didn't. And they did exactly what they did following Game 2 against the D-backs. And they did the exact same thing they did last year against the Mets. And they did the exact same thing they did in Games 1 and 2 this year. They got tight. And once more, the only guy that came through was Castellanos. Coming up next from Rob Thompson. Is he back next year? He spoke about it. And some of the players are asked about it as well. You'll hear those clips coming up next. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Unfiltered with Ricky Bo, Bill Collar.
The Fanatic, presented to us by our friends at Norristown Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Drive into great deals at the fall sales event at Norristown Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram and get wicked good deals all month long on a Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram. Visit NorristownChryslerDodge.com. Phillies.com.
Did you see Bill Colarulo's tooling around in one?
I did not.
Yeah, Bill Colarulo. He's making friends, influencing people and selling cars, too.
I love that.
That's awesome.
I love that. By the way, speaking of friends, our old buddy Jason Martinez will be co-hosting Middays with Marks today at 10 o'clock.
Cancer warrior himself.
Damn right he is.
And one of my former players.
It was good to hear him on the air with Harry. Harry Mays was in with Johnny yesterday. So the rotating co-hosts yesterday, Harry Mays was in with Johnny Marks. Today will be Jason Martinez. It was a cool segment when Jason called in and talked to the both of them. All right, so yesterday after the Phillies lost, obviously, media availability, but of course the tone of the interview and press conferences are a little bit different because it's not just, hey, what do you do tomorrow? It's, hey, the season's over. What's next? Rob Thompson was asked about maybe not being the manager of the Phillies anymore.
That's, again, it's out of my control. I'm not even thinking about it. I got 60 people in there that are brokenhearted right now, so I'm thinking about that more so than my job right now.
Now, it's the perfect answer, as Rob Thompson typically gives. But here's the deal. We had our caller last segment, Eddie, and he said, they need to fire Rob Thompson, and he went into the decision to walk Ohtani. And again, I stand by it. I'm fine with the decision to walk Ohtani in that situation.
And honestly, I'm going to say, and it's weird because someone's giving me grief here going, I thought you said you wouldn't have done it. I would have pitched to Ohtani there. But I'm not going to criticize Rob Thompson for doing something.
You're saying let's walk the best player in the world?
Yeah, and a decision that I believe the vast majority of managers of all time would have done.
Right.
I don't think it's even controversial to say it.
Yeah.
The vast majority of managers of all time in baseball would go, oh, Ohtani, empty base, do it. I mean, come on, you can't.
Now, here's the deal with Topper. I know he most likely managed himself out of a job this series. Rob Thompson, as we always say, does a lot of good things for this baseball team.
He does.
And the way that he keeps his clubhouse together. This was the first year where there were some cracks, the Castellanos stuff, right? First year, really, where there were cracks with the happiness of the clubhouse. They clearly were tight at points this year. But Rob Thompson's done a tremendous job leading the men to the playoffs. And then, unfortunately, come playoff time is when it goes off the rails. We've seen this in sports before. This is nothing new, where you can have a successful team year in and year out, but once you don't come through in the postseason, you have to find the next voice to maybe get you over the hump.
He's had 4 bites at the apple.
Yeah, we've seen this before.
Tony Dungy?
Tony Dungy. I'll give you a prime example in basketball. Dwayne Casey with the Raptors. That team was 1 seed, 2 seed every single year, but they would lose in the first or second round. So then they go, all right, let's give this guy Nick Nurse a shot, and they win a championship. Obviously, Kawhi Leonard helps a little bit, but we've seen it in sports before, right? We've seen it in sports where a team goes, hey, this is going to be a really hard decision, but just because you're getting us there does not mean you're the right man for the job. You have to be able to get us over the hump to winning. And so Rob Thompson will most likely lose his job because I think they just need a different voice in that clubhouse. Now, here's the deal. I don't want them to ask Bryce about it.
No, Bryce should not have a vote. Bryce should not be involved in this. Bryce is involved in too much.
Yeah.
He's involved, by the way, the reason you have that contract that's going to be an albatross, the contract you've got in Trey Turner, who, again, just doesn't show up in the biggest times when you need him, is because of Bryce Harper. No, no.
I'm okay with them saying, hey, Bryce, here are our candidates. What do you think? But if he says, I like that guy over that guy, that should not be the Phillies' decision to say, all right, then we're hiring that guy. No, the Phillies need to make this decision, not Bryce Harper. You mentioned Trey Turner. Here was Trey Turner after the game being asked about Rob Thompson.
There's going to be discussion about Rob's future. Do you think Rob is still the right guy to lead this team?
100%. He's great, man. I've been blessed with a lot of good managers in my career. I've probably played for 4 or 5 now, and they've all been really good, and he's right up there with them. He's got all the qualities. He keeps it even keel all year long, and I think he, like I said yesterday, a little bit, he blends the old school and new school, and he's willing to adapt and change and do different things, and I don't think he can ask for more other manager.
Look, they love that man. They do. I think Nick Castellanos may be one of few people that isn't a fan of Rob Thompson.
I would tell you from discussions I had at batting practice and talking to people around the team and to cover the team.
Sure.
Nick Castellanos' opinion of Rob Thompson is the minority opinion.
Yeah.
Of him being not a good communicator, that's the minority opinion. That's the outlier opinion. That he is a beloved guy for what he does well. And if you listen to Bryce.
Trey.
He has a
that was Trey Turner.
Trey Turner.
Yeah.
He has a lot of good qualities. He has a lot of there's a lot of things he does well. It's what I always say.
Yeah.
And I'm a big vocal critic of Rob Thompson, but he does a lot of things well.
Yeah, and look,
and that's not easy. But he's had too many bites at the $300 million apple. Like
now,
it's 4
speaking
bites.
of the $300 million apple, part of it's not Rob Thompson's fault when the guys making $300 million can't hit in the postseason.
But what do? You can't move guys. There's immovable contracts.
Yeah.
So
you're going to have to move somebody.
You got to change something up.
Last one. Here's Bryce Harper. He was asked about the future of Rob Thompson.
Always, when you get this close, there's pressure on the manager. Do you think Rob is the right guy to continue leading this team forward?
I love Topper, man. He's done a great job for us. I don't know what the future holds. I have no idea. I think that's a Dombrowski question. But obviously, we love Topper in here. He's been great for us. But I think that's, like I said, that's a Dombrowski question.
Now, here's the thing, Bryce. I get what he's saying, but just have the guys back. Don't do the whole that's a Dombrowski.
You know what's hilarious is? Bryce Harper, listen to him at the first press conference in L.A. He was answering questions that the manager should have answered.
Yeah.
About the pitching staff. He was talking about pitching matchups and how the pitchers were prepared and everything like that. He's answering questions that he should have just said, those are questions for Rob Thompson. It's not for me. That's the first time in my life. That's the first time I can ever remember Bryce Harper going, yeah, it's not my... At that point, that's where Bryce needs to be. Have his back 100%. If he's there with it. Have his back 100%.
But even if he's not, look, you can have he can tell the truth to Dave Dombrowski behind closed doors. You can't, like, that's a moment where I go, yo, dude, like, you can't do the whole, that's a Dave Dombrowski question. Like, just say, we love Topper, we'd love to see him as the manager,
and I will tell you that, once again, just to reiterate, the opinion you heard articulated by Nick Castellanos is by far the minority opinion on the job that the man does communicating. He's very well. That's not the way the majority of his players talk of him. That's what I'll say.
All right, what do we got on the text line, Connor, at 610-632-0975?
Mike in Westchester says, I'm so depleted with this Phillies team. So much talent, so little execution in the postseason. Winning 96 games in the season is meaningless when they can't hit the ball and get runners across the plate in October.
Yeah, look, 96 wins is great. And then when you point out what happens in the postseason this year, last year, the collapse against the Arizona Diamondbacks, I'll say it's empty wins. Like, it is. Like, great, you got to the postseason, and we all want that. We all celebrate that. Red October, woo, rally towels. But there's a DNA with this baseball team.
There's a problem with the DNA.
And it's a lot of guys. So coming up at 8:25, I actually did an exercise this morning about concerns or flaws of individual players in the everyday lineup that I will give to you guys coming up, and I'm curious to get your reactions on it. But before that, we still have other things to get to. Our man Andrew DeCecco from Inside the Birds will be joining us coming up next for his reaction. He was at MetLife Stadium yesterday. He was in the locker room after the game yesterday when the Eagles dropped their second game of the season, back-to-back weeks, to the New York freaking Giants. We get his breakdown next. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
An all-time bad sports day. I'm Connor Thomas, and with three teams in action yesterday, Philadelphia sports ended up going 0 for 3. Let's start out with the Phillies, whose season came to an end in the 11th inning in Game 4 of the NLDS against the Dodgers. Orion Kirkering made a throwing error to home with the bases loaded and the game tied at 1. It was one of the more brutal ways to lose a game that you're ever going to see in sports, and Kyle Schwarber talked about it afterwards.
Obviously for us, it sucks, right? It ended up being the play that ends the game, but, for him, having total belief in himself, that's not him, and he's going to be fine moving forward.
Obviously, it's not all on Kirkering, as the top three in the order again had just one hit in the game last night. The Phils offense did not show up in their 3 losses. They now face a long offseason of tough decisions. The Eagles got smoked by the Giants last night, 34-17, doubled up by a team that just lost to the Saints. The offense once again stalled in the second half. They were shut out in that second half and now fall to 4-2 on the season through their first 6 weeks. And the Flyers lost their opener last night on the road, 2-1 to the Florida Panthers. Noah Cates scored the Flyers' only goal goal. Andrew DeCecco will join us coming up next. Kevin Nagandi at 9:10. I'm Connor Thomas on your home for the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
As you're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, WPHT1, Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group Station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. He did not get home till probably close to 3 o'clock in the morning, I would guess.
Momentarily?
Well, he might still be asleep for all I know. He did not exit that game until after all of his write-up stuff. Who knows what time he finally crawled into bed yesterday. You would think we had it bad, but I would imagine that Andrew had it a little bit worse with all the post-game write-up.
He's unbelievable.
We'll speak to him soon. Obviously, we are commiserating. Phillies season comes to an end yesterday. Once again, the top 3 in the order come up completely empty for you.
No, it's terrible.
And it's an ongoing storyline, unfortunately. Also, we saw the Eagles lose to the New York Giants yesterday, 34-17. The Eagles scored 17 points, all in the first half. Goose egg in the third and the fourth quarter. Saquon Barkley, 4 carries in the second half. Lane Johnson. Here is Lane Johnson after the game yesterday, and this is part of the problem for all the people giving excuses for Kevin Patullo because he's learning on the job. This is now in-house a player using the P word.
The consistency isn't there, so yeah. I mean, it's not a finger pointing show. I'm with Kevin till the end. A lot of it goes down to execution. So we'll go back and look at this tape and see what we got to get fixed. So moving forward, maybe more efficient, less predictable, and capitalize on big plays and explosives.
When he says less predictable, it's a word. Predictable has been the word used by people who cover the NFL.
Interesting.
Right. They break down the film, and then we had the guy that had the statistical analysis of how many times they pass the ball in shotgun, which, by the way, it's like 90% of the time.
They're the most predictable team in the NFL.
And when they run the ball, it's 90% of the time under center. Like, the teams know what's coming. And it's one thing for somebody who analyzes the games to say. It's one thing for radio hosts to scream behind a microphone. It's another thing for one of the players on the team and a legend in Lane Johnson talking about it. Clearly there's issues, and this is not something that's all of a sudden going to get different. Like, my question is, what can you actually do? Unless you're bringing in somebody else that's going to design a whole new offense this late into the season. And it is late. Like, you're not going to rip up the play sheet and have a brand new offense. Like, you do these installs like during the off season, but you would have to change a lot of things. And I don't know if you can just do that. What is Nick Sirianni going to start calling plays? We know that doesn't work either.
All you have to do is go back and see Nick Sirianni when at 7 games into his NFL career, he told you as a head coach, it's not my strength calling plays, so he turned him over to Shane Steichen.
Yeah, and then he also told you, without telling you, that he never took the keys back from Brian Johnson, even though it was bad.
He let Brian Johnson drive the car into a ditch.
Yes.
So I ask you, it's October 10th. It's 10-10. You know I love my numbers. It's 10-10 today. Are you going to let Kevin Patullo drive the Eagles season into a ditch?
Loyalty, man. That's his guy.
Or are you going to admit a mistake? My mom used to say, I made a few mistakes in my life, believe it or not. Mm-hmm. And Betty used to go, John, here's what you do. When you make a mistake, very wise woman, rip off the Band-Aid and fix it. Don't try to do a little fix here or a little fix. Just rip off the Band-Aid and fix it. And the quicker you do that, it's going to be better for you. Because the more you putz around and try to,
And what's amazing, John?
He's not prepared for the job.
You know what's amazing? The Eagles do that well.
Yes.
With contracts.
Oh, yeah.
Like, how this isn't going to work. Let's trade this guy. Let's release this guy. Let's move on from this. Like, if they realize that there is an issue with the team, that they go, you know what, we can move on from this and we'll be fine. Unless there is, like, literally no alternative, which could be true. Like, I don't know who's going to all of a sudden start calling plays, right? Like, we could say fire Patullo today, but then who's taking over?
Yeah, there's no good option right now.
Like, is Jeff Stoutland going to start calling plays? What's his face?
Scott Loeffler,
I should not say what's his face.
coach.
That's disrespectful. But Big Dom's got a headset on. Like, is Big Dom going to start calling plays on the sideline? Like, what? Like, I don't know what they're going to do unless you just have another coup where the offensive linemen go into the office and say, hey, we got to change things up. But the players have been pretty public about that already. Like, Jalen Hurts, post-game against the Rams, we got to stop playing not to lose. A.J. Brown the week before that against the Kansas City Chiefs. We got to let the Killers go out there and do their thing. Lane Johnson, now after last night's loss, talking about how they're predictable. Multiple players have been public about their dislike of this offense, and it hasn't changed.
You're starting to get the rumblings, though, which is great. This is great. Like Lane last night, that is as aggressive as Lane will get because Lane's a good company guy. And I guarantee you Lane's more talkative behind the scenes.
Sure.
But that was a great way of handling it last night. Lane let it be known. Not happy.
Nope, not happy. Also not happy with the Phillies, who got eliminated from playoff contention yesterday. The error heard around the world by Orion Kerkering.
And again, we're on this Orion Kerkering thing. He cost them the 12th inning.
Right.
Because did you think that the top three were finally going to sprout a pair and come up with some big hits and help them in a big game? Because that's all he did. He cost them a chance to have a 12th inning. He did not lose them the game.
Yeah, did you expect – seriously, I'll ask you guys this question. He gets out of the inning. Are they winning the game?
I think so, only because Blake Trinan was the next guy in for the Dodgers, and that dude is dog water.
I'm going to tell you that it's no better than a coin flip. If they get to the 12th, there's no better than a coin flip. They win that game.
Yeah, that's fair.
And their win probability, if he gets the out, I believe the win probability was still going to be Dodgers 50-54, which is a coin flip.
They had 4 hits yesterday.
Oh my gosh! The Phillies. It's so pathetic. It's so pathetic how bad it was, and there's got to be answers. There's got to be answers. Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
A couple things.
Kincade and Salciunas.
A couple things. Sorry about that. You want to do top? Anything on
I already
that?
did.
Oh, Brandon Marsh. Why was Brandon Marsh batting 5th last night?
Okay, so let's break this down. I'm glad you bring this up.
Why was he batting 5th?
So Brandon Marsh.
He was terrible in this series.
It was
over
really
and
bad.
over.
And so when we have our off-season conversation, which we will, he was the player that I kind of always point out to be not a guy that can be in your lineup every single day. Now, look, credit to him.
He had a great second half.
What he did in May, April, June, July, August, fantastic. More than second half, right? It was just post-April.
Yes.
He was spectacular. But you saw what the Dodgers think of him. Let's pitch around a guy who swings at the first pitch in Alec Boehm more often than not, and when if he does get a hit, it's usually in the ballpark. But let's pitch around that guy because we have zero fear in the guy behind him.
By the way, who'd I bet on? And Alec Boehm was your best bat in the NLDS. Yeah. Who had that? Who had the bingo card? I thought he was going to have a good playoffs. Alec Boehm showed you something.
Yeah.
He showed you
Real
something.
Real Muto was good
was
offensively.
Real Muto, what, double? Homer? Triple?
Yeah.
I mean,
single, yes, hit for the cycle in the series. Yeah,
fantastic.
So a couple of guys stepped up, and unfortunately, those are the guys in the bottom half of the lineup. Not Alec Boehm, he bats cleanup, but they're not afraid of his power that isn't there. And then they go, all right, let's pitch to Brandon Marsh. And again, the organization tells you what they think about him. Rob Thompson tells you what they think about him. There's an opportunity yesterday with a left-handed pitcher to keep him in the game, and they go, no, let's put in a guy that's got one working leg right now, in Harrison Bader, who, by the way, credit to him for working that at-bat. It's a shame that it ended in a strikeout. How many pitches? 8, 9, 10?
I thought he had 10 pitches. He had one of the best at-bats of the entire – and I'm looking at Harrison Bader up there with a hamstring injury.
Comes in cold,
and it gives you a better at-bat than Schwarber, Harper, or Turner gave you the entire game.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Seeing pitches, patience, it's maddening. It's maddening.
Yeah, and I'd rather him strike out there than walk. Because because if he walks, then you have to use one of your guys off the bench to pinch run for him. You burn that before you get deeper into the game. Like at that point, he's up there to hit a single.
He's up there
to
to get a hit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Connor, that's a smart move.
All right. What do we got on the text line, Connor?
You sure?
Yes. Yes, we got it.
I know. We got a lot of people angry today. And the most frustrating part of last night to this texter of Philadelphia is the fact that on both the Eagles and the Phillies, the talent is there, it just doesn't show up.
Yeah, and that's why I put out the half-ball busting tweet yesterday, the poll. If I said all this money invested into the offense and they can't stop struggling, which team am I talking about, Phillies or Eagles?
That's a great one.
Because both can be said. It can be said about both teams. It's unbelievable. What else we got?
So Timmy in Audubon checks in on the Birds and says, guys, this could be one of the most epic, saddest slides we see in Eagles history. I really don't think they have the team attitude to pull them out of this. It has to start with all people, Lane Johnson, to show Hall of Fame leadership and start by telling the quarterback and wide receivers they have to be better.
Yeah, well, Lane, I think, started to lay the groundwork last night. He laid it a little bit. I mean, started at least the conversation. I got a couple questions. Another question. Lane Johnson might be able to answer this one. Why Brett Toth? Why not? Pryor better than Toth, Johnson better than both. Why last night? Brett Toth's killing you. Whenever you have him in, he's killing you.
Wait, would you have put Pryor in or Johnson as well?
Pryor would have been the guy that you think would have been the logical one to put in.
Yeah, I'm not putting Fred Johnson in because in case one of the tackles go down.
Right. He's got to be the guy. But Pryor,
maybe because last week Toth graded out well.
I mean, I'm not going to Matt Pryor. I'll tell you that. He almost got Jalen Hurts' head ripped off his
playing him
body.
at guard. You're not playing him at tackle.
Yeah.
He's horrible.
They're both not good.
There's nothing. Yeah, but there's nothing that Toth has shown.
We talked about the offensive line depth. Now, look, there's a reason why they traded for Fred Johnson, and we were very thankful that they traded for Fred Johnson. But that was a talking point we had this offseason was the fact that they had very little depth.
I got another one for you. Tank Bigsby.
Get off my football team.
If someone can explain to me, if someone can explain it to me, he is a freaking mess. He's a mess.
He stinks.
He's a mess. And guess what? The Houston Texans are going.
Jaguars.
Oh, Jaguars, excuse me.
Same division.
They got two. Yeah, same division.
He stinks.
He's the one that owes me a second chair. That's where the second chair was broken.
That guy dropped a kickoff and it went out of bounds. Like, he stinks.
They got 2 picks.
I'll say it harshly. He stinks.
Oh, gosh. He's atrocious. And how many games is he going to be back there? He's not offering.
You can't do
he
this
doesn't
anymore.
offer you anything.
All right, coming up next, we usually do it on Mondays because the Eagles typically play on Sundays. Monday morning, radio host, but on a Friday, we play some clips from Nick Sirianni's press conference, and we break it down. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Philadelphia is a sports city full of passionate and knowledgeable fans.
But it was a game day yesterday for the Philadelphia Eagles, so we do something at this time, usually on Mondays, but today on a Friday, the Monday morning radio host.
Now, the Monday morning radio host on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
And it's brought to us by who?
Our friends over at Lundy Law. For over 70 years, Lundy Law has been fighting for injured people. If you need them, remember the name Lundy Law. Your injury lawyers, visit lundylaw.com. That's lundylaw.com.
If this is the first time you're checking out the show, welcome. Thank you for being a part of Kincade and Salciunas. You know the term Monday morning quarterback, the person that's on their couch breaking down everything from the previous day. We call this the Monday morning radio host. We do what we do best. We break down what other people say. And this segment is whenever Nick Sirianni speaks after a game. For the longest time, it was like, wow, we don't have much to say about what Sirianni has to say. Well, it's a little bit different. We'll start first and foremost. Here's Nick Sirianni talking about the team and how they need to get away for a little bit.
Get up. You're going to take some time off and, just get up and keep fighting. Got a lot of things to fix. Been here before. Let's go.
I just want to say this in response to that for Nick Sirianni. This is why I thought getting rid of Victory Monday was stupid. You need to be able to celebrate the wins and get away and relax your body and not put so much freaking pressure on you. And, our man DeCecco yesterday was kind of giving me some pushback on it. I'm looking at it from like a human element. Like,
yes.
Sometimes we need to get away, right?
I told you earlier, I'm really looking forward to a weekend away. I'm going to be a weekend away from sports for the most part. I'm going to play golf tomorrow. I'm going to relax. I'm going to a little mind cleanse before we get started. Yeah, because we don't have anything to worry about. I may watch the Flyers this weekend before the home opener on Monday.
Sure.
But other than that, nah.
Yeah, it's a wipe the hard drive weekend.
You feel the same way too, Connor?
Absolutely. I'm going to the bar.
I'm glad that he's saying
we're going to be young and single.
We're going to take some time. I'm glad that he's saying that. Victory Monday is getting rid of Victory Monday is an over-the-top, rah-rah, we're the best. It's stupid. All right. Then he talks about how there were some good moments in the run game today.
I think there were some good moments in the run game today. Got ourselves behind the sticks a little bit in the second half on some of the runs there. So we'll look at everything right there. We know we have the guys up front to be able to do that. Obviously we got to do a good job putting them in positions to succeed, and then we got to go execute. So we'll look at everything. Running a bunch of different types of schemes, but we'll look at everything to see what we're doing well and treat this like a bye week here this weekend.
What are you doing well?
Well, and here's the thing, we saw some good things, and then unfortunately in the second half we got behind the sticks. Do you guys not adapt, clearly, to what the opposing team is adapting? The opposing team, they made adjustments, right, at halftime. Hey, Saquon's run the ball really well. Let's do this, let's do that. And then the Eagles don't have the next chest move. That's been a clear issue with this team all season long. Once one team makes an adjustment, or maybe they don't expect to see what was thrown their way, like the first half against the Rams, they pee down their leg. And they don't know how to adjust. Saquon Barkley having good moments in the run game in the first half and then only having 4 carries in the second half is inexcusable.
If you look at last year, many of his biggest games, he had a stat line very similar to what we saw last night in the first half. And instead, Kevin Patullo, he got amnesia on that. But he wasn't calling the plays last year.
Sirianni, here he is talking about how they didn't play or coach their brand of football today.
Again, I don't think we played our brand of football or coached our brand of football today. Give them credit. They did a good job. And so, again, have to look at the tape, with how things kind of played out there today. But we definitely, that's not to our standard in all phases and in coaching. So, we'll look at it and we'll get better from it.
Let me ask you guys something. When he says we did not play or coach our brand of football today, I want to ask you guys this question. Have they at all this year?
No.
Not for a full game.
Not for a full game. No.
So don't say today, Nick. I need you to say we have not played to our standard this season. I understand that you started off 4-0 and it was against very good opponents. Division win against the Cowboys, rematch of the Super Bowl, rematch of the divisional round of the playoffs. You beat the Bucs in Tampa, tough spot to play. But the last 2 weeks, the flaws that you saw in the first 4 weeks that a lot of people said, don't point them out. They're winning. They're winning those games. Don't point them out, man.
Winning.
They've now lost the last 2 weeks, and a lot of those flaws are part of the reasons why they've lost these last 2 weeks. So when I hear Sirianni say we didn't coach or play to our standard today, no, it's been 6 weeks of it.
Yeah, it's been a lot
despite
of it.
your 4-2 record.
That's what it is. It's when you say Sirianni.
No, it pops up. I know somebody complained to me yesterday on social media.
That's what it is. You just did it. She just listened to you.
Coach
again.
S.
It is not.
All right, one more. Here's Nick Sirianni talking about how they stalled out the last 2 weeks in the second half.
A couple weeks ago against the Rams, it was good adjustments to lead that second half comeback. Obviously, we've stalled out here the last couple weeks here with our second half. It's a combination of a lot of different things. It's hard to say, hey, this is all on this or this is all on that. Obviously, today it was all three phases there that and coaching wasn't good enough on any of those, and I always would take responsibility of that as the head coach when that looks like that. They did some. I wouldn't say they did anything drastically different than what happened in the first half. We had a couple 3-and-outs, and then we had a drive that stopped, and then we had a couple turnovers there. So combination of different things. We got to be better as with our coaching. We got to be better with our execution.
Not everything can be credit to the opposing team.
No, can't be. Because even though the opposing team can...
Yeah, they make adjustments, but then
they make adjustments.
You do too.
But we don't. No.
You're supposed to, is what I'm saying.
That's you're supposed to.
Yeah.
Kevin Patullo, the minute that somebody makes the adjustment to his plan, is unable to adjust to his next plan. He doesn't have the counter move.
Yeah.
He would not be good at chess.
Nope.
He's not a good chess player.
I want to sneak in a call here. Let's go to Lenny and Pittman. Lenny, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey guys, how you doing? It's funny. I wake up this morning, didn't even realize that the Flyers lost too.
They played really. By the way, they played really, really well.
0 for 3 day yesterday though in Philadelphia sports.
It's a shame. I think one thing that really was not brought up, at least for me, is Zach Wheeler wasn't hurt. This would be a whole different series.
Why?
I mean, your ace.
Does he bat?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the scary thing.
They wasted every good pitching performance they got. Why would you think that's a difference?
Right.
That is a very good point, but I'm just saying that he probably would have pitched game one. He would have been the starter.
And I will say this: they win game one. If 3-0 lead with Zach Wheeler, I think they win game.
You mean like last year against the Mets when they blew it?
That's no, it was 1-0.
With Zach Wheeler, I mean, like it's just I don't know.
Thanks, Lenny. We appreciate
he doesn't bat. No, they wasted every strong pitching performance they got.
No, I know.
I don't think that would have done anything.
Look, I said to you
when Wheeler and Turner and the greatest no showman don't show up, that's it. By the way, don't give yourself a nickname anymore.
Thanks.
No nicknames.
I said to you the second Zach Wheeler went down that I thought the World Series was done. I said it.
The World Series dream was done, but you didn't say the season was
No,
over.
they were going to still make the playoffs and all that kind of stuff. But you saw, I mean, look, how great would it have been to have him, then Sanchez. But to your point, John, they could pitch one-run ball game and still lose.
Correct.
All right, coming up next, I told you I did an exercise this morning driving in.
You were exercising?
Each everyday player for the Phillies, I have either their number one flaw or my number one concern for them.
Interesting.
I'll go through them with you, and you tell me where I'm wrong. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
A collapse of a day. I'm Connor Thomas, and with three teams in action yesterday, Philadelphia sports ended up going over. They lost all three games. Let's start with the Phillies, whose season came to an end last night. The 11th inning in Game 4 of the NLDS against the Dodgers. Orion Kirkering made a throwing error to home with the bases loaded and the game tied at 1. It was one of the more brutal ways to lose a game that you're ever going to see, and Kyle Schwarber talked about the moment afterwards.
Obviously for us, it sucks, right? It ended up being the play that ends the game. But, for him, having total belief in himself, that's not him, and he's going to be fine moving forward.
But it's not all on Kirkering. It's not all on one player. No, the Phils have to hit, and they had just one hit yesterday from the top three in the order. They only had 3 total hits in the 3 losses of the series. The Phils now face a long offseason of tough decisions. The Eagles, well, they got tough season decisions. They got smoked by the Giants last night, 34-17. They were shut out in the second half as the offense stalled again. They're now 4-2. The Flyers also lost last night in their season opener, 2-1 to the Florida Panthers on the road. Noah Cates scored the only Flyers goal. We'll talk to Kevin Negandhi coming up at 9:10. This update's brought to you by Rapid Radios. Their instant push-talk walkie-talkies with native nationwide LTE coverage for a limited time. Get 60% off and free UPS shipping at rapidradios.com. Use code radio for an extra 5% off. I'm Connor Thomas on your home for the best birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Kincade Salciunas, 6 to 10 a.m.
Season coming to an end after the Orion Kerkering error and the 3 for 35 and the 3 losses for Turner, Schwarber, and Harper. It is a Football Friday presented to us by our friends at Norristown Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. Drive into great deals at the fall sales event at Norristown Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and get wicked good deals all month long on a Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram. Visit NorristownChryslerDodge.com.
Welcome into the family.
Welcome.
Norristown.
We appreciate that. All right, so I did an exercise this morning when I was coming in, driving into work, and then I put it down, pen to paper, after I printed out the handy-dandy show sheet. So you guys don't even know. You just know the topic, but you don't know exactly where I'm going at with this. So I did my either number one concern or number one flaw for the everyday or platoon players for the Phillies, the guys that are in the lineup, not the starting pitchers, not the bullpen guys. And with all due respect, like a guy like Max Kepler, whether he's back, he's back. He's not. I don't.
By the way,
care.
he had a really nice.
No, he had a nice series. So
nice series.
We'll see if he's back or not.
No, I don't think he's back.
No, I don't think so either.
All right, JT Realmuto, not a flaw. I go concern. My number one concern for JT Realmuto, because I think a lot of people are on the same page. Look, the pitching staff loves him. I don't really know who else you would put back there. So he's probably going to be back here as a member of the Philadelphia Phillies. But my concern is, who is JT Realmuto at 35 years old, right? We saw the beginning of the season, he came out the gate slow. He turned his season around, and I applaud him for it, and he was one of your only consistent hitters in the postseason. But catching is a tough position. Who is he at 35? That's
totally
my
fair.
Number one concern. Alec Boehm, I go flaw. The lack of power from a 6'5" third baseman. Now, was he good this series? Hitting the ball, getting on base? He was.
Okay.
He was. But we have talked about the issue of this team being lineup construction, right? Alec Boehm is probably more a 6-hitter than a 4-hitter, or
no question,
or a 2-hitter than a 4-hitter.
And I don't blame that on Boehm.
No,
I blame it on the fact of roster construction that you got to use him there.
And so he's your 4-hole hitter.
By the way, he was your best hitter
with
in the
absolutely
series.
no power.
Him and JT.
Sure.
Yeah, he only works if the top 3 work, and the top 3 didn't work.
And they didn't work at all.
And so flaw, because pitchers aren't afraid to make a mistake to Alec Boehm, because he's not going to make you pay unless it's with a single. Marsh/Stott. Flaw. 4 years of information now. They're not everyday players.
They're not.
They're not. They are guys that can't play against left-handed pitching, right? There's a reason why they pinch hit for Brandon Marsh yesterday with a guy on one leg. There's a reason why Edmundo Sosa is loved in this city, because he has to play so much. It's unfortunate that one guy who was a former top prospect in Major League Baseball that you traded for and another guy that you drafted in the first round are not everyday players. They have areas of their game where they're strong. Bryson Stott defensively is spectacular. Brandon Marsh, when he's hot, we see it. But he can't play against left-handed pitching, and he can't be your center fielder. We know that. Like, he can't be your center fielder. So that's a flaw of those two players. Nick Castellanos is a little bit of both. Flaws, Nick
Castellanos
swinging out of the zone.
No, I'm going to tell you right now, Nick Castellanos, and I like Nick.
You know how I feel
and
about
I've had
him.
some nice, and you and I have defended him, and I've had some nice interactions with Nick over the years. He's got the worst flaws of all.
Yeah.
Because he's a problem.
The flaws, he's swinging the bat.
But he's also, socially, he's a problem.
Well, and that's why it's funny. I wrote flaw, the flaws. Concern, the blow-up coming. There was already a moment where Rob Thompson had to bench him. We don't know what was necessarily said still to this day.
Yeah.
But if Rob Thompson had to bench him for something, it must have been pretty bad. Just my guess.
Well,
I'm worried that there's a blow-up coming.
I think very disrespectful.
Sure.
And you're just like, boom.
And then we get to the top 3 guys. Trey Turner. His flaw is regular season player.
Oh, I thought it's his contract.
Well, yes. But his flaw is a guy that can hit around 300 and then just straight up disappear. Since Game 2, as you have mentioned a couple of times in the NLCS against the Diamondbacks, when everybody was playing well, I think he's batting 176 personally.
And he had 3 hits He had 3 hits in Game 3.
That's with 3 hits.
With 3 hits in Game 3.
He's batting 176.
He is a thief in the night.
Kyle Schwarber, his flaw is the boom or bust, right? When he's going, every pitch could be a home run. When he's not, you're not asking Kyle Schwarber to just put it in play. And he himself is not just trying to put it in play. So Kyle Schwarber just trying to hit a single is not anybody's mindset. It's not his mindset. Does that mean I don't want him on the team? No. But what I'm saying is when there are times where you just need to get a freaking hit, that's not what he does. He tries to hit a home run.
I would list that more as a concern because of the impact that the good stuff he does.
I know.
But you're absolutely right in your evaluation.
And then lastly, with Bryce Harper, concern. And it's a concern. Concerns can sometimes be proven wrong. Concerns can be fixed. I am concerned that he's a declining asset. And by declining, I don't necessarily just mean the numbers, right? Because ultimately, if you step back, you look at his numbers, you go, all right, he was dealing with a wrist injury. He missed time. The numbers aren't horrible, but it's not Bryce Harper. But here's the deal. I bring up the wrist injury. Every year it's been something. Every year. And his vicious, violent swings, the way he plays baseball, right? We saw Chase Utley fall apart toward the end because of his aggressive style of playing baseball, trying to stretch singles into doubles, trying to get from first to third.
Terrible base running.
Yeah, bad base running. Chase Utley was not a bad base runner.
No,
bad
Chase
base
was
running,
a smart base runner.
The violent swing, the diving all over the place, the gamer, and part of that is like you love it. You love that he goes full effort sometimes. But I worry, is this guy a declining asset where
he is?
We are never going to see that Bryce Harper again. He'll have stretches, as we know, but we're never going to see MVP Bryce Harper again. And that is a major, major concern.
You have 6 more years of it. 6 more years. And he was trying to negotiate to try to extend his contract, trying to hold John Middleton hostage, saying he needed more years on the end of it. There's no way you're giving this guy more years. For God's sakes. No way. Does he deserve more years? He got a great contract that he negotiated at the time that was top dollar, top of his field. That's it. He's 33 next year.
Yeah. And here's
33 next year.
the thing, 33.
And he's a relative bargain. He definitely earns, statistically, he earns the $27.5 million that he's going to make next year.
Right.
But he's not a top 25, 40 player in baseball, maybe.
Probably 40.
Probably 40.
He's probably a top 40
Probably
guy.
40, he's sneaking in. But postseason?
You mentioned that he's turning 33. It's not just that he's turning 33, because there are guys that are in their early 30s that are still playing good baseball. It's the fact that he's been playing since he's 19.
Correct.
Yeah,
that's an old, he is an old 32 right now.
He's entering what will be his 15th season in Major League Baseball already. And even though he's missed time over the years with the Phillies, he's played a lot of games. And again, the way he plays it, the violent nature of how he plays it. 15 years of that swing where like his back.
And look, he's admired for a lot of it. But at some point, there needs to be intelligence to maybe this isn't the way I need to play the game to extend. I've got 6 years left that this organization is going to be paying me big money.
Yeah.
I need to be making sure that that 6 years I'm really, really as healthy as possible, which I haven't been, and I need to be as valuable to them as I can be. So maybe I need to be a little less reckless, a little more intelligent about it, maybe a little mental reset.
Yeah,
So-
that comes with a change of the roster and bringing in other guys who need to be the guy.
Yeah, you need to. Was I wrong on any of those flaws or concerns?
No, I think those are all fair.
No, I think it's all fair.
And that leads to a lot of questions this
That's all
offseason
fair.
that we
All
will
fair.
get to at some point.
Yeah, next week we'll start diving into this.
All right, coming up next, it was a historic error for Orion Kirkring. You'll hear him speak. You'll hear what Rob Thompson had to say. And, of course, your texts, your calls, 610-632-0975 on a loss Friday. Both Eagles and Phillies. Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now, a Fanatic Phillies playoff update on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
I'm Connor Thomas, and the Phillies season has come to an end, and it came to an end last night with one of the most brutal endings you could imagine. I don't think any of us could have possibly imagined it last night. We're in the 11th inning in Game 4 against the Dodgers, tied at 1. Ryan Kirkring made a throwing error to home with the bases loaded, and the game tied up. And man, it's only the second time in Major League Baseball history a postseason series has ended on an error to cost you the entire series. But it didn't cost you the entire series, and Kyle Schwarber made sure to note that when he talked about the moment after the game.
You know, obviously for us, it sucks, right? It ended up being the play that ends the game. But, you know, for him, having total belief in himself that that's not him, and he's going to be fine moving forward.
Obviously, Ryan Kirkring is not the only problem the Phillies had in the series. Kyle Schwarber, Bryce Harper, Trey Turner, they only had 3 total hits between the 3 of them in the 3 losses the Phillies had in the series. So we've got to take a long, hard look at the roster over the offseason, and with a bunch of free agents, will this core look different? It almost seems like it has to. Now, will the managerial role look different? A lot of people are going to question whether Rob Thompson is the right man for the job. He talked about his thoughts on that after the game.
That's, again, it's out of my control. I'm not even thinking about it. I got 60 people in there that are brokenhearted right now, so I'm thinking about that more so than my job right now.
It's an admirable answer, but it does not necessarily say, hey, he's going to be back. We don't know if anyone's going to be back, and it's another playoff disappointment for the Phillies. This Fanatic Phillies Insider Update is brought to you by Corona. Go ahead and turn any game into your own beach oasis with a nice cold Corona this red October. Corona, the official cerveza of Major League Baseball. Drink responsibly. I'm Connor Thomas on your home for the MLB playoffs in Philadelphia. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
here before we relive the moment that ended the Phillies season yesterday, and then Orion Kerkering speaking after said moment, and Rob Thompson speaking for Orion Kerkering. But I know a lot of Phillies fans, Philadelphia fans, I should say, because the Eagles didn't make yesterday fun either. A lot of Philadelphia fans want to chime in about yesterday's moments. Let's go to Ryan in Washington. What's up, Ryan?
Hi, Ryan.
Well, I wanted to throw my 2 cents about last night and all. And, I probably may or may not be in the majority or minority here, but going forward, there has to be some changes going forward. I mean, the thing is, real quick, since 22, they haven't progressed at all, really, in the playoffs. They've kind of been, going backwards.
Mm-hmm.
22, you lose World Series. Next year, NLCS. This year and last year, both the NLDS. That's not. Something's got to.
Yeah, it's been the same story, unfortunately, right? The bats come up small.
Sort of storyline, yeah.
They get tight. The pitching staff's tremendous. There's a Rob Thompson decision that doesn't go well. It's the same story, just different year, different team. 23 Diamondbacks, 24 Mets, 25 Dodgers.
Yeah, that's the thing. I wouldn't call that real progression really at all.
No, there's no progression. It's been regression, and Thompson's been at the helm of it. And if we're honest about it, the 2022 Phillies had a great 5 weeks.
Yeah.
They backed into the playoffs. They were 4-8 to get into the playoffs. Thankfully, Milwaukee went 4-10, and then they went on a run.
Thanks for the call, Ryan. That sounded just like Tim Kelly, by the way.
Right, it really did, didn't it?
Freaked me out. Sounded just like.
And I'm like, did Tim really? But he's in L.A.
Well, Tim Kelly, he's a journalist. Maybe he wanted to be a fan for a minute and call in.
Nah, Tim's out in L.A. He's probably sleeping in.
All right, here's the moment. The Phillies season
going around today.
Came to an end yesterday, courtesy of TBS.
No balls and a strike. Pajes breaks his bat. Kerkering got to find it. Throws to the plate. Oh, my goodness. He throws it away. And the Dodgers have won. The Dodgers win. And they are moving on to the NLCS. And a most improbable finish. Pandemonium at Dodger Stadium. And your heart breaks for Orion Kerkering.
And as we said earlier, our heart does break for Orion Kerkering, the human being.
Yes.
And I imagine there were a lot of horrible things that were said to him on social media. I hope he doesn't have a Twitter account. I don't know if he does. I don't follow players.
I can tell you he's a nice guy, and I don't know him personally well. I did shake his hand the other night before Game 1 of the series.
Mm-hmm.
Wished him luck. Hope I didn't jinx him.
It's your fault.
But
jinxes don't exist.
He's a good man. He's a good man.
But here's the deal. Orion Kerkering,
he's not built for it.
I don't have to do the.
I
feel bad for him,
critique,
so let's not. Like I saw a guy saying yesterday, "Hey, we have to remember that they're humans." Yeah. So if somebody's saying vile things, yeah, they're terrible people.
They're terrible people.
But I can't come on here the next day and be like, you know what? He's probably really feeling it this morning. Let me go easy on him. No, he ended the game. He has been consistent when it comes to coming into games with inherited runners where he's bad. Now you can blame Rob Thompson for putting him in that position to begin with.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask that parallel with it.
Yeah, why is he even out there?
Why are you doing when you know the book on Orion Kerkering is you don't put him on with inherited runners. He's terrible at it. His numbers are terrible among relievers. And then in the biggest situation, season on the line.
By the way, twice this series.
Twice
he did it. He did it in game
series,
1, and then again.
I'm telling you, Rob Thompson is Edward Scissorhands. He has no feel for managing a game.
No,
he does a lot of good things well as a manager over 162, but he's Edward Scissorhands. He cannot feel. There's nothing.
Credit to Orion Kerkering after the game. He stood tall in front of the media. Here was his back and forth with members of the Philadelphia Phillies media.
Just kind of, once that pressure got to me, I just thought it was a faster throw to JT, a little quicker throw than trying to cross body the Bryce. So just a horseshit throw.
Yeah.
Did you hear them calling, telling you to go to first at all, or were you just in the moment that it wasn't even?
Just in the moment.
Yeah.
Can you see JT pointing in that moment, or is he just kind of looking up? Just kind of looking up, just be ready to go. I mean, a lot of guys, I think, what do you like? One of the first ones there, just what do the guys say to you in that room? Just keep your head up. It's an honest mistake, just it's baseball. Happens, and just keep your head up. You'll be good for a long time to come. It's not my fault. Just had opportunities to score. Just keep your head up.
Conversation with Rob too. What did he say? What does that say? I mean, do you care about those guys picking you up so quick?
Means a lot. Shows they care a lot. Just means everything for sure.
I'm sure a lot of guys in here have had moments early in their career that, they can kind of remember very vividly. How much do you think you can use this kind of in the off season to for good?
For sure. Yeah, the wall with a tennis ball for sure. But yeah, just kind of keep going with it. Hopefully it started a long career. Just keep back in my head of this really sucks right now, but hopefully keep pushing and get over this hump. Keep pushing.
And we talked about this earlier. This is a candid response. This is not a emotional, get him out of here.
No.
He can't pitch here ever again.
He can't. No, he's got to be moved on.
It's just, it's a moment like that is an immediate, all right, change of scenery for him, change of scenery for this fan base, because the second he has a moment next year. If
Say what you said earlier, though.
On opening day, when they announce the lineups, when they go up and down the foul line, right? Orion Kirkring, when his name is announced, I know this city, I know this fan base, and I love you for it. He would get a standing ovation.
And if you and I and Connor were there, we would absolutely be joining in on it.
He would get an absolute standing ovation.
Because we'd want him to do well.
Yep.
We would hope he does well for us.
But in April or May, the second he comes into a game with inherited runners and something bad happens, and I'm not saying an error heard around the world, I'm just saying runner scores. He could not get the job done. Everyone's going to be like, oh, here we go again. Same guy.
And it's deservingly so.
So that's why he can't be
And
back.
deservingly so. He's got to go.
All right, real quick. Here was Topper after the game talking about Kirkering.
Rob, obviously a heartbreaking way to lose. Looked like you had a long conversation with Orion coming off the field. Do you want to share a little what you told him? Or
Just to keep his head up. He just got caught up in the moment a little bit. Coming down the stretch there, he pitched so well for us. And it's, I feel for him, because he's putting it all on his shoulders. But we win as a team and we lose as a team. So.
But
there's Topper.
A good answer, because all he cost them was a chance to play a 12th inning. Yes, it ended the game.
Yeah.
But
Turner, Harper, Schwarber cost you the series.
Correct.
Those
they were
three
the primary.
players.
They were the primary villains of the series.
Yep. All right,
Man.
coming up next.
Man.
Is being a sports fan good for your health?
I can't wait for this. I'm looking so forward to this.
A medical professional in our own backyard actually wrote about it. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
A Philly Sports 0-for-3 day. I'm Connor Thomas, and with three teams in action yesterday, Philadelphia sports ended up going 0-3. We'll start off with the Phillies, whose season came to an end in the 11th inning in Game 4 last night. Orion Kirkring made a throwing error to home with the bases loaded, and the game tied at 1. It's one of the worst ways you can imagine to lose a game, and Kyle Schwarber talked about the moment afterwards.
Obviously for us, it sucks, right? It ended up being the play that ends the game, but for him, having total belief in himself that that's not him, and he's going to be fine moving forward.
But it's a series, not just one game, and obviously it's not all on Orion Kirkring. The top three in the order, again, had just one hit in the game last night. They had 3 hits total between the three of them in the 3 games the Phillies lost. They now face a long offseason and tough roster decisions. The Eagles got smoked by the Giants last night, 34-17. The offense stalled again in the second half. They were shut out in that second half and now fall to 4-2 on the season through 6 weeks. And the Flyers lost last night in their season opener, 2-1 to the Florida Panthers on the road. Noah Cates scored the lone Flyers goal. We'll talk to Kevin Nagandi coming up at 9:10. This update's brought to you by Delaware County EDSI. Attention employers, fill your workforce fast. Join PA CareerLink's Fall Hiring Fest October 14th. Be qualified candidate, speed interview, hire on the spot. Register at pacareerlinkdelco.org. I'm Connor Thomas on your home for the best birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
High school sports rockin' Phillies, South Jersey.
wife. I love her dearly.
I'm glad you do. She's good.
And she worries about me.
Oh, that's sweet.
About my health. So she
Why?
sent me.
You eat right. You exercise.
Yeah, but I'm a sports fan. She sent me a blog this morning at 5:40 in the morning, thinking of you, and just sent it to me. This blog was written 4 days ago, October 6th. My wife works at Cooper University Hospital. No, that's not why we named our son Cooper. She works at Cooper University Hospital, and they have a website just like anywhere else. And somebody that works at Cooper, Deborah, I don't know if it's Ubelli or Ubel.
Okay.
Deborah, proud Philly sports fan and a primary care physician at Cooper's Brace Road office in Cherry Hill.
Okay.
And her blog piece is being a sports fan good for your health.
I can't wait to hear some of this.
The benefits. Boost of self-esteem. When they win, you feel great. Strengthening social connections, right? You build a community. Shout out to our YouTube community, right?
We like that.
Every single day. That's cool. Through sports.
Sense of community. That's good.
Provide a sense of identity and belonging, right? I belong here as a Philadelphia sports fan.
My wife said that when she moved here, she was like, I got to get more Phillies gear, more Eagles gear and everything for even when she goes to shop at the store.
Yeah.
You want to fit in. You want to look you want to look the part like everybody else.
A sometimes healthy outlet for emotion. And it also encourages routine and anticipation, right? So, like, I got to get my day. I got to get all my stuff done. I got to get to the gym. Got to do all this before kickoff.
I love that. Okay.
When fandom turns unhealthy. Drinking too much at tailgates, so alcohol, yeah. Overindulging in unhealthy game day foods. Gambling problems, especially with the rise of sports betting. And probably the most important one, Connor. Mood swings tied to team performance where wins and losses dominate your emotions.
There we go.
Like breaking chairs.
Connor, you hearing that?
They were cheap chairs.
Doesn't matter. Can't have that.
So one thing that they try to tell you to do is take it in moderation. I'm sorry, I can't do that. I'm locked in every single day.
We can't do moderation.
No. But I love that this was written 4 days ago, and what perfect timing for my wife to have seen it and sent it to me. You're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media station broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. Don't forget, coming up 9:10, our man Kevin Nagandi will join the show.
Time now for...
No pre-produced intros. It's time now for Kincade and Salciunas. No, it is time now for Kincade and Salciunas. And it's time now to commiserate. The Phillies season, John Kincade, good morning, is over after last night. The Eagles season storylines have completely changed because they just lost to the New York Giants on a short week. Last night was a day of pain and a day of misery in Philadelphia sports, a day where we will have a ton of questions for both teams, one whose season came to an end in a way that I've never seen it before. And, of course, the other 6 games into the season, 6 weeks of questions for the offense, 6 weeks of, I believe, excuse-making for a new offensive coordinator because it's hard. It's a tough job to have
with
all this freaking talent.
It's really hard.
Good morning, Johnny. How are we today?
Well, you know how I am. It's not a good day, but I think we got a great plan today, and I think we're going to hear from a lot of people. We're going to make sure our listeners get a chance to vent along with us and everything like that. Not doing well. But I can tell you one thing, just an initial thought at the start of the show today. There's one thing that I do think that is a stark difference between the Eagles and the Phillies. When things go bad for the Phillies, I'm going to give them one bit of credit today. And it may be the only credit I give them today. They stand there, they answer the questions, and I think for the most part they answer the questions with brutal honesty. And what Orion Kirkering did, and we'll talk about it, him answering questions last night, it would have been easy for him to freaking run and hide. Because we have grown men, and I'll use the term grown men, it really annoys some of our listeners. We have grown men in the Eagles locker room who can't conduct themselves like grown men, who can't answer questions at their lockers when they're 4-1 and things are going well, and they got to, have this subterfuge and lie to our faces and keep things secret and deflect. And so there's an admiration for how the Phillies go about their business. That said, it's It's going to be a long off-season, partner. But
Yeah.
It's going to be a really interesting off-season, and I'm actually looking forward to it.
You have admiration for how they handle themselves, but I'll tell you right now, I don't admire any of them this morning. The Phillies lose 2-1 in a way that you could say is historic. We'll play the audio for you. Today, it's like good cop, bad cop almost. For the Phillies, we are here for you. Like John said, we want to hear from you all day at 610-632-0975, texting in, calling in. We're not going to wait till 6:40, right?
No.
Whenever you're ready to call in, whenever you're ready to text in, we're here for you. When it comes to the Eagles, for the people that still make excuses for them, we're done with that.
Okay,
no more
done.
excuse
It's
making,
done.
okay? So that's the bad cop routine. The good cop routine is we're here for you to commiserate with the Phillies when it comes to the Eagles that stop making freaking excuses for this team. We'll start with the Phillies. Here's how it sounded last night, courtesy of TBS.
No balls and a strike. Pajes breaks his bat. Kirkering got to find it. Throws to the plate. Oh, my goodness. He throws it away. And the Dodgers have won. The Dodgers win. And they are moving on to the NLCS. And a most improbable finish. Pandemonium at Dodger Stadium. And your heart breaks for Ryan Kirkering.
When I say historic, the Dodgers, this courtesy of OptaStats, John, the Dodgers are just the second team in Major League Baseball postseason history. Goes back
Just
a long
the second,
time,
you're saying.
to clinch a series on a walk-off error. Now, it didn't happen in the 1800s. The other one happened 9 years ago yesterday when Rougned Odor's errant throw to
I remember
first
that.
on an
I
attempted
remember
double
that.
play allowed Josh Donaldson to score to sweep the Rangers in the ALDS. And then it happened last night when Orion Kirkering had a dribbler hit to him.
A dribbler.
Could not field it, and then panicked. And here's the problem with a player like Orion Kirkering. Now, we can talk about the decision to put him out there.
Yes, we will.
But that play kind of highlights who he may be as a player. When it's a clean inning, he goes out there. Not bad, right? Goes out there.
No, not bad
comfortable,
at all. No.
Gets his job done. Anytime he goes into a game with inherited runners, more than 50% of the time, the runner scores that he inherits. And that happened again last night en route to the Dodgers walk-off. I don't even want to say walk-off because it sounds
not a walk-off.
disgusting.
You gift wrapped it and gave it to them.
In the game-winning dribbler where Orion Kirkering then panicked and instead of firing to first base, hit the hot dog vendor in the fifth row behind home plate.
There was no there's no excuse for it. There's no explanation for it. There's no baseball IQ that tells you, well, here's what he was trying to do.
He panicked.
He panicked. He panicked like he didn't know how to. He couldn't field the ball for one thing. So you already know he's fielding it like a grenade. Now use that example.
Yep.
Fields it like a grenade, like it's something toxic.
Hot potato.
And then he's not paying attention. He's not paying attention. He doesn't even know awareness of the situation. That was terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just terrible. And there's no excuse for it.
No, there's no excuse for that play. I don't.
No.
I understand why, Brian.
I saw people trying to say last night, well, you understand what he was trying to do. No, you don't. There's nothing.
There is no.
You don't do that. There's nothing. There's 100 times out of 100, you throw to first.
The play's at first
and
base.
by the way, he makes it even with the fumbling of the ball. There's no way with a good throw that he isn't getting the out.
Absolutely. Now, I understand Brian Anderson in the clip that you just heard say you got to feel for Orion Kirkering. Like,
yes, we all do.
We do.
We all do.
We do. But that does not all of a
Correct.
sudden say, I'm not going to talk about it because I feel bad for the guy. Like, no. He's a player that anytime there's runners in scoring position or he inherits runners, he can't handle himself. And then a ground ball in yesterday's case, he searched the name Kirkering. He's the reason why the season's over. Yeah, he may have had the last impact of why the season ended, but what doesn't help is in the 3 games that you lose, a collective 3 for 35. Trey Turner, Kyle Schwarber,
and the greatest
Bryce Harper.
And the greatest no showman.
I understand that
Yes.
game 3, they are the reason why you won that game. offensively, and then, of course, Ranger did his thing on the mound. But offensively, Turner, Schwarber, Harper were the reason why you won one game in this series. But you can say they are the reason why you are out of playoff contention. You can say they are the reason why for back-to-back years you were eliminated in the NLDS. They are the reason where you start looking around you going, oh, crap, what do we do with this roster?
1, 2, 3 in the lineup. That's the major issue.
Yeah.
Bottom line, that is the number one issue. And they are the number one issue why you're going home, the number one issue why we're not playing. You have Trey, who put together 3 at-bats the other night where he gets 3 hits, and it's like, wow, he's got it figured out. And then he looks absolutely lost.
0 for 5.
Schwarber, who, again, he, sort of when he came out of his slump in September, and he had the home run game, and everything, it was like, wow, he hits the 4 home runs. Then he went right back into the slump.
1 for 5.
And then the greatest no-showman. Who gave himself the nickname, by the way. He's the biggest baffle. That's the biggest baffle again, because I don't understand it, and the kid gloves have to come off.
Yeah, no, they absolutely
because
do.
This is the guy. He's the guy. Bryce Harper's the guy who is supposed to be the guy. He's supposed to be the face of your franchise. He's supposed to be the one of the greatest players in baseball. He's supposed to be the guy that John Middleton out right now. That's where it should all start.
It absolutely should start with Bryce Harper. And so now the Phillies are done. Back-to-back years out in the first round. Back-to-back years where we're going to question what this roster should look like. And hopefully this time around, Dave Dombrowski actually does something about it. Also, the Eagles lost yesterday, 34-17 to the freaking New York Giants. And again, for anybody that is still making excuses for Kevin Patullo, who is still making excuses for Jalen Hurts, who was not good in the second half yesterday, it has to end. They won the Super Bowl. We love that. Let's get past the honeymoon phase. Now it's time to start pointing out this team's got freaking issues on offense. So coming up next, the P word was mentioned again. Earlier this week by Dan Orlovsky. Oh, media. Well, what about an all-time Eagle great who's still on the team? You'll hear from Lane Johnson next. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. No pre-produced intros. No, it's time now for Kincade and Salciunas. No, it is time now for Kincade and Salciunas. And it's time now to commiserate. The Phillies season, John Kincade, good morning, is over after last night. The Eagles season storylines have completely changed because they just lost to the New York Giants on a short week. Last night was a day of pain and a day of misery in Philadelphia sports, a day where we will have This is a big day. Let Comcast Business help you move forward with what's next. He may be the face of the 6 o'clock Sports Center on ESPN, but He still wears Philadelphia on his sleeve. Kevin Negandhi. Kevin, before we even break down the series and what went wrong, before we break down the Eagles' offensive performance in the second half again last night, I just need to know, what was Kevin Negandhi's immediate reaction when Orion Kerkering made the error?
I finished my glass of whiskey.
Oh, little whiskey action.
My 13-year-old, obviously the whole room, we're all watching. My 13-year-old just screamed out loud, "Why didn't he throw to first base, Dad?" Yep. So it just gives you an idea of the initial reaction. And then while that's happening, you just sit there and say, of course this is the way this is going to end. Because, I mean, listen, if Philadelphia does one thing right, it's finding a way to really, really pour salt in the wound on a tragic loss. But this shouldn't be on, Orion Kerkering. I mean, I think it's going to be played out that way for a long time. But this loss, this whole thing, shouldn't be on the 24-year-old. Right?
The highlight of the loss will be the Kerkering throw, but to where you're getting at, it's the top three guys in the order.
Without question. I mean, the Dodgers scored their 2 runs on a bases-loaded walk and an error. Everything that we thought that we wanted gearing up to this playoff was, hey, our starting pitching is going to carry us. Even without Wheeler, our starting pitching is going to carry us. And they did. I thought, Rob Thompson, who I have had many issues with, let's start with who was batting 5th in this series. I thought Rob Thompson did everything right pitching-wise on bringing Luzardo. I would have finished with Luzardo, and that's not a knock on Kerkering. It's just I trust Luzardo in that situation regardless, just because the moment is magnified. But if you guys, watch this. I mean, they held Shohei Ohtani to 1 hit the entire series. They did everything right when it comes to starting pitching. By the way, that 6th inning ball was a joke. Christopher Sanchez was done. I mean, he had that guy nailed, and we could talk about, a lot of situations, but, you've got to get that ball strike call right. And the umpire apologized to Sanchez after the game, but that's embarrassing. You've got to get that call right when this guy's pitching his tail off, and then you get that guy on base, and then you see how the domino effect plays out. It's just heartbreaking the way this plays out because, again, Turner, Harper, Schwarber, it felt very much like Game 7 of the 2023 Sixers-Celtics, where it was like you feel your stars need to be stars and you're helpless because if they're not stars, then no one else can do anything. And that's the frustrating part.
So we get the frustration. I think everybody's feeling that today. When you look at it, though, do you believe this is a team that they are going to be able to fix without extreme measures?
No, not the lineup. Listen, Harper's not going anywhere. Turner's not going anywhere. If you especially look at their contracts, but I would imagine that. They're going to lose Ranger because the market dictates it that way, and he deserves his money. I'll be curious to see how they approach JT and if it's a potential two-year deal, and does he still want to catch 130-plus games, especially at his age? I'm not sure if he does. Right? I would look at potentially Bohm being moved, Castellanos being moved, and I don't know if the hitting coach is going to be back. And he's got a relationship with Schwarber, and Schwarber the market will dictate what Schwarber gets. And I don't know if the Phillies are going to, write that check. It's really hard to justify paying the money and running it back the way they have. That's where it is. You can't just tweak this thing. No. I think they've tried to tweak it. You can't tweak this thing. You've got to kind of go to the heart of it, and they haven't done anything after you get to the top 3 and you find a way. Do you have any confidence with anybody else in the lineup after you get through the top 3? And that's been the storyline since the Diamondbacks. Shoot, that was the storyline since the Astros in Game 4 in the World Series after they had that 5-home run explosion in Game 3. They haven't figured it out. They haven't resolved it. And, guys, I was in the same space with you guys, I think, about 6 weeks ago where I was like, in the end, have we figured it out? But then you get swept away, and you're like, maybe we figured it out. Maybe they understand. But better pitching, quality, you face some really, really good scouting reports, and it comes to haunt the Phillies because they consistently do the same thing, and they chase pitches out the zone. My biggest concern, though, was, like, the timing of Turner and Harper. They weren't locked in at all. No. I mean, Harper had real troubles with a fastball in the zone. Shohei challenged him in Game 1. We saw that as well in Game 3, and I was Game 2. Sorry, I was concerned about that. I'm like, whoa, this is different because they're challenging him, and he can't get around that fastball right now.
Yeah, there's a concern that he could be a declining asset. Now, Kevin, before we let you go, because I would love to have you on for literally like 6 more hours. I said to John that I didn't want to go to commercial break at all. I'm sure the Beasleys would be thrilled about that.
Our advertisers are happy that we have.
Yeah, exactly. Eagles 0 points second half again. At what point do we stop doing the whole let Kevin Patullo learn on the job, give him time? It's not just on him. 0 points second half, 4 run plays for Saquon the second half. Still league leaders in 3 and outs in the NFL this year. At what point do you say enough is enough?
I think we've reached that point that you could be patient for so long and talk about it like that. That was embarrassing last night, guys. That was embarrassing, especially with all the talent that they have. Jalen missing on some throws that you got to make as well. You see the first 2 runs by Saquon, you're like, all right, tonight's the night. They've got to figure it out. And then they do not go back to it. Or how about a little RPO and you don't do that? And the predictability from Patullo, I'm done, guys, with this experiment. You cannot have a guy calling plays for the first time with this much talent, and you can't figure it out after 6 games.
I love it.
It just can't happen.
Thank you,
and
Kevin.
Here's the other thing.
Thank you.
If Nick Sirianni is the CEO, and that was the big question last year, right? What's his role? If you're the CEO, you've got to now grab the bull by the horns and figure this out from here on out. If your role as the CEO, it's about relationships. Guys, the vibe that I got was 2023 in December. The defense didn't want to make the hit. They were bullied on both sides of the line. He's got to challenge them and now play the role as the CEO and now challenge your best people now, because there were some things last night. Listen, Ringo, it's not going to work. Adoree Jackson, it's not going to work. You've got to find creative space. You've got to blitz more because you don't have pressure, because they don't have a defensive end. Losing Nolan Smith, critical. There are a lot of the cracks, and guess what? The book is out on how to defend the Eagles' offense, and you're seeing it repeated by defensive coordinators now for multiple weeks. They understand the disguise, rush 4, and then maybe disguise a blitz, and then confuse the heck out of the quarterback, and he's not making the throws. And by the way, I've been tolerant about the whole, hey, A.J. Brown, like, we're done. Like, come on, let's figure this out.
Yeah, we got to get over this. We got to get over
this out. Like, this cat and mouse game with the media, enough. Come on, let's move forward here and find a way. Because if not, this could fall apart real quick. They're too good, guys. Yep. They're too good. They're too talented. Howie's assembled too good of a roster for the results to be like this.
Kevin, you're the man.
Great summary today, and the perfect level of disgust without anger.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I love it. Kevin, you're the man, brother.
The whiskey. I credit the whiskey. All right, fellas.
He hasn't put it down yet. All right, Kevin, we'll talk to you next week.
Be good, guys.
There's our man, Kevin Nagandi on the Comcast Business Hotline. All right, coming up next, pick segment. We got to do our picks for the upcoming NFL slate. And I told John I have a very not weird, I just feel so confident about a certain game that I'm like, wow, I'm all in on one game.
Wow.
It's Kincade Salciunas.
You can't count it twice.
97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Black Thursday in Philadelphia. I'm Connor Thomas, and with 3 teams in action yesterday, Philadelphia sports ended up going 0-3. It was one of the worst days in recent Philadelphia sports history. Let's start with the Phillies, whose season came to an end in the 11th inning in Game 4 as Ryan Kirkering made a throwing error to home with the bases loaded and the game tied at 1. It was one of the more brutal ways to lose a game that you're ever going to see, and Kyle Schwarber talked after the game about the moment.
Obviously for us, it sucks, right? It ended up being the play that ends the game, but, for him having total belief in himself that that's not him and he's going to be fine moving forward.
While it's obviously not all on Ryan Kirkering, though, the top 3 in the order, again, just had 1 hit in the game last night. They had 3 hits total in the 3 losses in the series. Phil's now face a long offseason of tough decisions. The Eagles, they absolutely got smoked by the Giants last night, 34-17. Offense stalled again in the second half. They were shut out in that second half. They're now 4-2. And the Flyers, they also lost last night in their season opener, 2-1 to the Florida Panthers on the road. Noah Cates scored the Flyers' only goal. This update is brought to you by Audible. Stuck in traffic? Audible's romance collection will have you falling fast in the slow lane. Satisfy every side of you with rom-coms, romantasy, and the really steamy stuff. Listen free with a 30-day trial at audible.com. I'm Connor Thomas on your home for the best birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
because we're going to have to know what our standings are, our records, and where we're at. I don't do this often, Johnny, but a night like last night, I think about the people that have gone through the wars of Philadelphia sports, right? Your generation. You've seen this before.
Exactly.
But it never makes it easier, right?
No.
So?
But I can tell you this, though. The success of the recent makes it definitely easier to handle.
Hi, Dad.
Oh, boy.
Pops. Good morning, son.
What's up, Dad?
Good morning, John.
How
morning,
you doing,
Connor. How is everyone?
Good morning, Mr. Salciunas.
What's going on this morning? How do you feel today?
I could not sleep last night. I was tossing and turning. My nerves were wrecked. What an ugly, ugly night. So, Phillies first. Top three, I get it. 3 hits and the 3 losses, I get it. Unexcusable. It's just awful. But I got to sort of point at the manager. And, bringing in David Robertson, I don't want to see him on the mound ever again. Bringing him in, and he loses the first game. I'm looking at the lineup, Bohm cleanup, I don't get it. Marsh hitting 5th, I don't get it.
Who would you bat cleanup there, Mr. S?
Huh?
Who would you bat cleanup?
I would put Schwarber at cleanup.
Okay.
I'd rather have the big bat, at batting 4th.
Old school baseball.
And
Right?
I get it. Sure. He has 1 at bat in the whole series. I just don't get it. I think a lot of this goes on Topper. I think he made some really bad decisions. Bunting Stott in that particular situation.
Which was terrible.
I didn't like it.
It was stupid.
I didn't like it. I think the manager has to get a lot of blame on it. And I think Evan is right. The manager is a question mark. I think there's a lot of question marks in that lineup. And it's got to be seriously considered in this off season.
Now, I know the show is Kincade and Salciunas, so I know you think you got 50 more minutes.
No, this is Kincade and Salciunas.
Yes, exactly.
I'm enjoying this.
Exactly
but I got to
rush your father.
I got to rush him a little bit. We got our pick segment to get to. Eagles. I know. Yesterday was fun for you.
Well, listen. Evan was saying they have a lot of talent. I'm not so sure. They have a lot of new players. There's a lot of injuries, but what I saw on the field last night was just horrible. That second half, horrible. And the offensive coordinator cannot adjust. He seems to be lost. And they're lucky to be 4-2.
All right, Dad. Love you. Talk to you later.
Nice to see you. Take care, buddy.
See you guys.
There
Bye.
It'd be funny.
By the way, it's Kevin, not Evan, Dad. That's
What would be really funny? I have an idea here. Someday,
Dad segment.
No, my dad's in St. Denis Cemetery. He can't make it. But Doc could come in.
Yeah.
Connor would get your dad.
My dad would say 2 words, I think.
Oh, he would? Yeah, he would. He's a soft-spoken man. We could get Doc and your dad.
Just let him go.
Because my brother.
The old school Philadelphians,
seriously,
man.
It would be funny. I want to try. We're going to make this happen because I want to try it. I want to try it sometime.
My dad was blowing my phone up last night.
I can only imagine.
So was mine.
Did he say we got a score here?
Oh yeah. Good. That was tame, by the way. He understands. He knows the deal. You can't say certain things on the radio. He knows the deal. All right, let's get some football music going there, Connor. Johnny, where are we record-wise?
Well, you guys are trailing. But it's not trailing by a lot.
See, I already told you, I don't care about you at this point. I care about one man. I need to beat Connor into the dirt.
He's rooting against you, too.
Well, that's good because the two of you are 10-10.
Oh, we're
to start
now.
the year.
Isn't
You're even.
Right?
You're even. But Connor's been preaching patience about his picks.
Absolutely.
So he says, just be patient. It's
I was patient to start. He had the bad 0-4. That was your New York Giants game last
You're both 10-10 to start the year at 50%. I am 13-7. At 65% to start the year. Just 3 games up on you. This thing is way too early to call.
Well, you had the best week, so go first.
I will go again. Here we go. I'm going to go to the well again with the team I told you last week that I thought would beat the Chiefs on Monday Night Football.
Jags.
The Jags are underdogs at home to Seattle. Seattle is playing very, very well. The Jags are home underdogs. Would I go to that well again? Yeah. I'll do it again. I'll take Duval, and I'll take the 1.5 points at home. I'll take the Jags. I think they're going to find a way to pull it out. and win a tight one against Seattle. I'll go across the state a little bit, and I'll take the Tampa Bay Bucks at home against the San Francisco 49ers. Buccaneers are laying 3 points at home. I like the Buccaneers in that one big time. It'll only be like 5,000 degrees.
By the way, the 49ers saying, it's all right, Brock, take another week off.
Yeah.
$267 million.
That's because they're seeing they got a quarterback who's more than competent. That's going to be a really, really good game and a tight game. It's one to watch. I'll take the Chiefs at home, laying 2.5 points against the Detroit Lions. John, you got to be nuts. By the way, the Detroit Lions getting points at Kansas City looks like the sucker pick of the week. Everybody is going to jump on the Lions. They've scored 40 points a week over the last 4 weeks, averaging. Give me the Chiefs. I'll lay the 2.5 at home. And I'll take Las Vegas and Tennessee. Two horrible teams. I wouldn't watch this game if it was in my backyard, but I'll bet it over 41.5 points because both of these teams are terrible. I'll take the over 41.5, Las Vegas, Tennessee.
All right. Cowboys -3 against the Carolina Panthers. You know why? Eagles losing again breathes life into multiple teams in the NFC East. Not that I think the Cowboys or Commanders will win the division, but if you're the Cowboys, you go,
wake us up a little bit.
You mean to tell us we just have to beat the Panthers with Bryce Young? And we're, half a game out?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Cowboys -3. And then the rest, all one game.
All one game.
The Los Angeles Rams are 7.5-point favorites against the Baltimore Ravens. Now, I'm not playing the spread.
You're not.
Matthew Stafford over 256.5.
What's the things on that?
That's his over-under.
Okay.
Matthew Stafford 256.5. Puka Nacua over 99.5 yards receiving. And the Rams over 26.5 points as a team total. That Ravens secondary.
Slow down on the numbers again. What's Nakua's?
Nakua is 99.5 yards receiving.
Okay.
And the Rams is 26.5 points team total. The Ravens secondary is abysmal. The Ravens offense is abysmal, which means the Rams will have the ball more. And Matthew Stafford's still slinging it. So 3 props or 2 player props and 1 game pick all within one game. It could go horribly wrong, and it could just blow up in my face, or I go bing, bang, boom, and that's 3 hits.
It's a lot of eggs in one basket.
I know it is.
I don't hate the basket. This is going to be the first week all year, I believe, where we don't have the same pick between any of us. I'm taking the Broncos -7 on the road at the Jets. I've learned 2 things in this season. One, the Jets stink. I am taking the Broncos over in Europe. Chargers -4.5 at Miami. I still think that Miami is not a good football team. I think the Chargers need a bounce back.
That's good analysis on your part.
The other thing that I learned this season is that until Lamar Jackson is back on the field for the Ravens, I'm picking against them every week. Rams -7.5 at the Ravens. I'm not playing those prop plays, Andy, but I'm going with the spread. My prop pick, I'm taking George Pickens, anytime touchdown scorer in the Cowboys-Panthers game.
You're going with an anytime touchdown as one of your picks?
That is +115.
That's +115.
I made sure to get the odds for it.
He didn't do it negative. He did. He took a legitimate prop.
No, I'm just saying that's a risky bet
I know,
for one of your picks.
Well, he's going to be really good, and CD's going to be out again. So if they have a passing touchdown,
and that when you're making picks, when you're taking one that's actually in the positive.
By the way, you guys should have had me keep the Wentz one. He didn't throw a pick last week.
Taking all the negatives.
That's on you guys. And then my switch to Devontae hit.
How are we supposed to know Wentz wasn't going to throw a pick?
All right, coming up next.
He better throw some next weekend.
Coming up next, there will be plenty of time to talk about the Phillies offseason. But coming up next, I'm going to go rapid fire with you guys. I say the name. You tell me if you want them back or not. It's, will they be back? No. Do you want them back? Yes or no? No hemming and hawing. No. Who are you going to replace them with?
No sitting on the fence.
No. Who's going to replace them? Yes or no? Do you want them back? It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Attention, Delaware Valley. 97.5 The Fanatics.
fire? Yes or no? You want him back? I want to get a couple text messages in, and then I saw a tweet that's like so spot on about Jalen Hurts that we'll get to momentarily. But what do we got on the text line, Connor? I know we've been taking more calls today, letting the people voice their frustrations. But I know there's a lot of people humming on the text line today. So what do we got?
Al from Southwest says, I have zero sympathy for the Phillies or Eagles. They did this to themselves with terrible coaching and leadership, and they deserve all the angst and anger.
Yeah, look, there's feeling bad for somebody in the moment. Like when I see Orion Kirkering, there is a video, and it's credit to TBS and their camera crew. I don't know if you guys saw it. It was from the perspective of the Dodgers dugout. And when they realized that the player was safe at home plate and they're jumping over the dugout to run and celebrate, the players had to avoid Kirkering because he wasn't moving. He was hands on his knees, sunk over. Somebody had to like help him off the field. And you see that video and you go, my God, that guy's got to live with that for the rest of his life. But at the same time, I go, but you know what? I can't just not talk about it because I feel bad for him.
No, and more importantly,
that was an embarrassing play. Embarrassing.
And it was earned.
Yeah.
He earned it. He did it. But you can have compassion for a human being. That doesn't mean you don't talk about what happened.
No.
That doesn't mean you
and it doesn't mean I say I just want him back. Like, I don't want him back.
No, I don't want him. It's the same thing.
That's a stain. That's a scar that let's just move on.
And you can have compassion for him as a human being and say, anybody who tweeted at him last night, anybody who DMs him,
horrible things.
You're despicable people. You're rotten. Anybody who has a strong opinion about not wanting him back or thinking that was a stupid play and that it cost them the chance to go to a 12th inning, you're fully justified.
Yeah, absolutely.
And guess what? It's a big boy world.
Yep.
That's bottom line.
What else we got on the text line?
Frank from Mount Laurel checks in, says, ever stop and think that maybe Jalen Hurts can't run a creative, more complex offense? The type of offense we have seen since Jalen has been the starter has been predictable.
So I just got it's amazing that you read that text because I have a tweet in front of me that I really want to read. And it's a day where we'll have a day on this. So this guy, Grant Paulson, you may know him. He does radio.
I know Grant.
106.7 The Fan, 90 minutes south in D.C.
I know Grant.
He said it's the video of the interception that Hurts threw in the fourth quarter of yesterday's game. There is no quarterback I have a harder time ranking or assessing than Jalen Hurts. My son asked me if he was good the other day, and my answer was 3 minutes long because it's so complicated. Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback, and he's a winner. But, like, there are things where you go, he doesn't do what Josh Allen does. He doesn't do what Joe Burrow can do when he's healthy. He doesn't do what the crazy plays that Mahomes does. He's a very rhythmic passer, and when he's not in rhythm, it can be bad. And yesterday, he played poorly. Like, I understand a lot of the focus is going to be on Kevin Patullo because the statistical categories of, like, 3 and outs, like, that's on Patullo, right? But there are plays where you go, that's all on Jalen Hurts and nobody else. You can't blame the offensive line for the interception. You can't blame Kevin Patullo for him missing a wide-open receiver downfield yesterday. There are a lot. Jalen Hurts not understanding how much time is on the clock before halftime is on nobody else but him.
It's on him.
And so,
but he answers the question as, we need to be better.
Sure.
Which, by the way, that is, and I'll say it, that's not leadership. That is not leadership. You don't answer we when it's you. You need to be better. I need to be better. Not we need to be better. There's a time to point out there are things that he can answer we. But when you're talking about the clock management right before halftime, that's on you, Jalen.
Right.
That's on you. That is an I answer. I need to be better. I can't let that happen. And instead he went to the collective we like, well, look, there's a lot of things that are going wrong around here. Don't just look at me.
Right. Look,
that's a bad answer.
He's a winning quarterback, but he does not do certain things that other quarterbacks do. But ultimately, what matters? It's Josh Allen can have all the stats in the world. The Eagles have a Super Bowl, right? But then at the same time, this is why when people, I don't understand why people get offended by it. Like, what would Josh Allen do in this offense? What would Matthew Stafford do in this offense? Like, yeah, they would probably throw for 400 yards, right? But I don't know if
no, they would.
They would, but Jalen Hurts does
300.
Sure, Jalen Hurts does
because Kevin
things
Patullo's
his way,
still here, probably.
and they win. So it's really interesting when you evaluate Jalen Hurts. All right, let's do this exercise. Do you want them back? Yes or no? Simple. Okay? JT Realmuto.
Yes.
No.
Bryce Harper.
Yes.
No.
Yes, you do.
No. Yeah, don't answer for me. You asked the question. No.
That's crazy.
No. If you're telling me, if you're telling me right now I could rework this team, then don't do that. If you're going to do the thing, don't tell me that I don't I don't want.
Bryson Stott.
No. Gone.
Yes.
I don't want him back.
Not as a starter.
I don't want
No. No, he's not good enough to be a bench guy.
I don't.
You've already got Sosa. You don't need him as a bench guy.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm trade him and try to get something. I'm sorry. I'm
Gotcha.
out.
I don't think that's unfair.
Trey Turner, yes or no?
Oh gosh. Now here, can I? If I could say, can I get rid of Trey or get rid of him? I'll get rid of Trey before I get rid of Harper.
Sure, I think that's fair.
But I would gladly get rid of both. Honestly, I'd rework the whole thing.
Connor,
Yes.
have you said no yet?
I have not. I will, but I haven't.
Alec Boehm.
No.
Go.
I'm out. Dude.
Go. I'm out.
I've been done for.
And by the way,
2 years.
I thought that he was the one did a very admirable job this postseason.
Sure.
Dumb error yesterday, but who cares?
Max Kepler.
No.
No. Got to move on.
Brandon Marsh.
Got to move on.
No.
Oh my God.
No, you said no.
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Nick Castellanos.
No.
Gone.
Kyle Schwarber.
Yes.
No.
It's going to be a really interesting offseason when it comes to him. Really, really interesting offseason.
How old are we going to be? We're going to be the Golden Girls?
He'll be 33. Realmuto will be 35.
Let's load up on all these old guys' long-term contracts. Let's do it. Let's be stupid. Let's be stupid. Let's do exactly what you don't do in baseball. Let's do exactly what they tell you not to do in baseball, what baseball has shown you don't do. Let's do it, though, because vibes, because people like these guys. Rip off the Band-Aid, folks. It's 4 years in a row. You see what this team is in October. That's what matters. Not August, not September.
And this is where it goes back to the Jalen Hurts evaluation. Kyle Schwarber's Josh Allen, right? 50-plus home runs every single year.
That's a great or Lamar Jackson.
And then you get to
Lamar Jackson.
You get to the playoffs the last couple of years, and it's, not that Josh Allen's lost the Bills games. Lamar has lost the Ravens games.
Listen, I'd still take Lamar on my football team.
I know you would. I get it. And look, I would bring back Kyle Schwarber, but I would not go into the postseason going, he's going to hit home runs for us.
Right.
But then, to John's point, if that's what you think, like if I feel that way, I want him back, but I don't expect much out of him out of the playoffs, then what's the point?
It's all about October now. We've been to October four times in a row. It's not working. And this group doesn't work. Wholesale changes. And if you load up on old guys, I'm telling you, you know how the story ends. You know it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. I know it's going to break people's hearts. Don't do it. Get on with the remake of this team, because when you have this payroll, you don't have to do a rebuild. This team's not rebuilding. You got plenty of time, and you got plenty of talent.
Yeah, they got to. And look,
and nobody's taking Trey Turner's contract.
So, some guys, and look, and again, this offseason, we have a lot of time to talk about it. You're going to have players coming up through the farm system, we think, eventually, if Dave Dombrowski can find the place to play them. Some guys will be coming up through the farm system. They're going to be, I imagine, aggressive. I imagine John Middleton's going to want to be aggressive. The trades is going to be the biggest thing. Schwarber and Realmuto are entering the market. Nick Castellanos, Alec Boehm, Brandon Marsh, 3 players that you both said no. You would not take them back. And I agree with you on all 3 of them.
I need a whole new look in the outfield.
I'm so interested in hearing what the market is for those 3 players. A guy that can't hit left-handed pitching in Brandon Marsh and is only a corner outfielder. A guy who's 6'5" and slaps singles and plays third base, only corner infield spots in Alec Boehm. And Nick Castellanos, Mr. All Over the Place. What's the market out there for those guys? It's one thing for us to say, move on from them. The next question will be who are you moving them on to? Are you just trying to get rid of them? So you're going to eat some of the money and you're going to take player to be named later?
There are great names in free agency that are available. And if you freed up money and you freed up spots, there's great names that would love to come and play in football.
I'm sure, yeah.
I will. I'm going to tell you this one, though, from one of our listeners here. It says, Spot Track did an analysis recently and said, Trey Turner's contract is one of the 3 worst that extends more than 3 years in Major League Baseball. But you'll never find a better time to trade him, John. I think you're mistaken. Somebody would take Trey Turner if he ate some of the money.
At 304.
Right. He goes, it was recently notated in a piece by Spot Track that if you say contracts that last more than 3 seasons, that last more than the 2028 season, Trey Turner's contract's one of the 3 worst in baseball. But for a position player, that you could find somebody that would take him, though, right now. This is the time you could find somebody.
All right, Football Friday brought to us by Norristown Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Driving a great deals at the fall sales event at Norristown Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram and get wicked good deals all month long at Chrysler Dodge Jeep or Ram. Visit NorristownChryslerDodge.com. Shout out to them for being a part of 97.5 The Fanatic here on Kincade and Salciunas.
Great folks.
Coming up next, Middays with Marks. Another old friend back in the building. Jason Martinez will be here, Johnny.
And thanks to Davis CPA Group for making a donation to the AACR. Go to 975thefanatic.com/AACR. I'm living proof. Cancer research saves lives. And by the way, the co-host today is living proof because he just beat it to Jason Martinez.
Damn right. That comes your way next. Everybody have a great weekend.